This podcast is brought to you by the Arate Podcast Pantheon. Please head to aratemedia.org to check out lots of other podcasts from our great friends. And if you would like to start your own podcast, they can help you with the resources there. So head to aratemedia.org. That's ARETE media.org. On with the show, everybody.
On with the show.
Yeah. So welcome, everybody, to the Spur of the Moment podcast. It's season 3. We're on our 3rd season of this show already. That's absolutely crazy. And because it's our season 3 opener, we have a special guest. Please introduce yourself, special guest.
Hi, I'm Soraya Fox. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Very welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to start off with some news. Today is D23. So there's lots of Disney news today. And Comic-Con happened last week. So there's a bunch of Comic-Con news. So I'm just going to try to fly. I've got 29 news stories. We normally only have like 14. So I'm just going to fly through a bunch of these if you're okay with that. To start off with, I got what I call news stories for Jordan. These are news stories that will make Jordan happy. To start off with.
Oh, good.
Jordan,
we like those.
Turns out they're making National Treasure 3. They're making it.
Yeah.
Wait,
it's happening. It's happening. Apparently, it's gonna.
Is Nick Cage gonna be in it?
Supposedly, yeah. Supposedly, he's gonna be in it. Yeah.
The National Treasure gonna be in it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It looks like it. It looks like it's gonna take place after the show. So, Jordan, you're gonna have to watch the show.
But I've heard the show is not good.
He's been fighting watching the show for weeks now. He's gonna have to watch the show. I have. No, I'm interested in that. What National Treasure do you guys think they're gonna chase after?
I mean, it better be what's on page 42 of the President's book in the second one, that mystery that never got answered and I need answers to. I want it to be that.
I think it would be funny if they never answer it.
I didn't even know that this was a thing that existed, but I would love for it to be like the Holy Grail, and there's somehow like a Monty Python like crossover influence there. That would be
great.
That would be great.
Look, hey, you know what? I'm down for that, but let's just throw in Indiana Jones as well. Just, you know what? We're getting crazy. We're getting crazy with this. Let's do it. He found the Holy Grail. He's an excellent asset.
The Ark of the Covenant. He can go after the Ark of the Covenant again.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he did eventually get the Holy Grail. I think that's like the 3rd movie.
I actually don't remember.
Of like adventurous side questy types of films, and then they can all buddy up.
I'm totally for that. So, okay, my next news story for Jordan. And I don't know, are you a fan at all of Tenacious D? Do you enjoy their music at all?
Me, yeah.
Yes, you do. So did you hear about what was happening with them? They may have been on the outs. We didn't know. Did you heard that?
Kyle Gass made a very poor taste joke, and it did not go over well.
So Jack Black has officially confirmed Tenacious D will continue on. Jordan, last week Kyle quit the band, but now they're back together again. It's all fine. It's all okay. He says they have to take a break for a little bit, but they will eventually.
They have to let the heat die down. Kyle Gass, you're too much attention, you know.
Pretty much. You
gotta lay low, yeah.
Stars down.
Pretty much, yeah. And look, that makes me happy. It would have been I kind of would like for them to do a point where they do like a final tour. Like, I don't want them to be like a Kiss or like where they tour for so long it becomes sad.
They'll be doing this. They'll be doing this till they're 80.
Till they're 80. Yeah, I don't know if I'm into that, but this would have been a sad way for that band to end. And then finally, in our round news of stories, Jordan. Sorry, say again.
She said because of a bad joke. Yeah, that would have been. It was definitely an in poor taste one.
Yeah, and I get it, but yeah, I mean, you gotta to end the band over a bad joke. It's just sorry.
Do we know what the joke was? Like, I have no idea.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he said you're familiar with what happened with Donald Trump? How someone shot at him?
Oh, yeah.
He said, "Don't miss next time."
I
they brought
that.
They brought out after it happened.
they brought out a birthday cake, and it was like make a wish on the candles, and he was like, "Don't miss next time." And
I'm sorry, it kind of makes me chuckle.
it's
It's very dark humor, but come on,
it's super dark humor. It was like that was my thing. It was obviously a joke, like a spur of the moment. Like think of it in the moment kind of joke where he wasn't thinking about the consequences of it.
Yeah.
And
we've all
pretty
been there,
immediately
right?
after, yeah.
My thing was it was the day after it happened, and it was like, oh, it's funny, but too soon. Too soon, man.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Like if he had waited like a month or two and made the joke, then maybe it wouldn't have been. Yeah, like it probably wouldn't have been such a big deal. But day after, like, ooh, poor choice.
Poor choice. So
too soon.
To round out my stories for Jordan, this is not a happy story, Jordan. But finally, Mario and Sonic will end their relationship at the Olympic Games.
I heard that.
They will
I was
no
like,
longer
man,
be competing together at the Olympic Games, and you know what? I for one, I'm sad. I'm sad to see that end.
They've been making those games like since the Wii, right? I think the first one was on the Wii.
First one was on the Wii.
That was.
It was incredible.
I remember
like, in conception, like as a '90s kid, for them to be like, Sonic and Mario, the two guys who have notoriously hated each other for like 30 years, they're gonna do a sports together.
Like, yeah, I remember when it first came out, and it was like, it was big because it was their first time being together. Sonic hadn't been in Smash yet. Like it was, they hadn't, and it was like two worlds collide. Like I remember that first trailer where it's like they're setting it all up, and you see Sonic's leg, and you see Mario's like outfit, and it's like, oh damn.
It's a bummer that they're breaking up, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because he keeps picking his stupid
They can
mic.
still smash.
Oh, I thought if you're saying you can barely hear Jordan because he keeps peeking his stupid mic, that's why he does that. It's what he does.
Let me turn down my gain.
It's all good. But yes, that is very.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. And also, just as a heads up, Discord sucks.
You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for, and we're not paying for it, and it's free. And that comes with a lot of little bugs that lead up to aggravations.
Yeah. So if something in the tech part of it seems off, it's not you. I promise you, it's not you. It's probably me.
It's not you. Last time we did it. It kept being where one or both of us would freeze, and it'd be like that Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Now.
It was bad.
I've listened to a few of those.
Wait, well, okay, real quick, just to pause. Are you one of our kind Spotify listeners who doesn't get to see all the technical glitches, and you're like, what are they talking about?
I am, but if I could hear the audio of it, because you guys kept the audio of it happening.
I love
just
keeping
like,
it.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello. I was like, oh no, something's happened.
Because it's weird, because there'll be moments where, from my perspective, just he freezes and I stop hearing it. From his perspective, I just sort of stop talking, and it's
yeah.
I think it provides charm to our little rinky-dink operation, but that's just me.
Look, it shows the reality of just what happens sometimes you're making a podcast on Discord.
Right?
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just like,
one day we'll have a studio.
Things happen,
So, with that, I want to move into some Marvel news. Sarah, are you a Marvel fan? Do you love the Marvel movies? Are you into the MCU at all?
There's a lot of the superheroes that I think are super cool, but I find them fun, but I'm also not like super it's not deeply fascinated with it, but I find it interesting.
Perfect.
Passive fan.
You bring a perfect.
I mean, I saw Deadpool 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine recently.
Oh, excellent!
So.
That means I'm definitely gonna keep in some Deadpool news because I got some fun Deadpool stories.
And I liked it a lot. It was really
cool. It was a really fun one.
So would you consider?
I
guess here's my question: would you consider yourself like a normie, like a person who's just kind of casually into it?
A normie. That's such a weird way of putting it.
You haven't seen every single one.
No to that adjective specifically, but
No, fair,
I,
totally fair, totally fair.
I like what I like, and I find some of the superheroes real cool. But I also have so many different interests that I'm just like, I don't know.
Fair.
There's,
Okay,
it's
so
not one of my top interests, but it's there.
okay, totally fair. So that just is my lead in to ask you: did you hear that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU? Have you heard that?
No, actually,
No. Okay,
that's cool
so
though. I've
here
seen Iron Man. I like it.
here's the pitch though. He's coming back. He's not coming back as Iron Man. He's coming back as Doctor
Okay.
Doom. How's that sound to you?
Oh, wait. Oh, that's sweet. They're gonna put Doctor Doom in something because that's pretty cool. Uh, I don't know about like is Robert Downey Jr. like good though? Like, does he need it, or is
Interesting
there something
question.
else that could maybe be a fun Doctor Doom that hasn't gotten to do that yet?
Well,
I don't know.
here's the thing: the state of the
It's
MCU as it is now. Sorry, Jordan, go ahead.
Sorry, I just gotta say it's so fascinating to because a lot of the people that I talk to about the MCU are like deeply entrenched in it and like know a lot, and so it's just so fascinating to come at it from a to put it in Justin's words,
I
a
prefer casual.
normie's perspective.
I
Uh,
prefer casual fan at this point. I feel
a,
bad
a,
about that.
Casual fan.
a casual fan. It's so fascinating to hear a casual fan's perspective on it because it's for me when I heard the news, I wasn't pleased by it. And a lot of people are like a lot of people are really excited about the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doctor Doom, and I kind of have the perspective of I'd like to see a fresh face, like a new person take on the role, and it just there's a lot of behind the scenes reasons why it kind of makes me not happy because it just gives the impression that they don't have faith in the actors of that movie, like of the Fantastic Four movie, and they felt that they had to bring in a big name like a Robert Downey Jr. or a Chris Evans to sell this movie, and it just kind of makes me sad.
That's
I don't know. I
sorry,
agree
go
so
on.
hard. I think like that as a trope just in Hollywood and period is like kind of tiring. Like I get way more excited when I'm like, oh, I've never seen this person before, but also like it seems like appears so far like they're doing a really good job, and it's even cooler if it's somebody who's like deeply like even a fan of it themselves. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd probably to see that than a dude who like Robert Downey Jr. isn't so much. Like he doesn't need it, and we've already seen it. Like we're tired, you know.
Exactly.
Give us something
exactly.
fresh.
And my thing
He
the
can
is
the
probably do
best
it the same, but
example
I don't know.
the best example for me of what you're kind of talking about is when they did Kamala Khan, and the actress who came in and played her was a fan. Like she's a fan of the character to the point where she has now actually, from what I remember, written comics
she's writing the current run of Miss
of her
Marvel. Yeah.
character.
Aw.
So that's an example of like bringing in a fresh face who is really excited, really likes the property. That's kind of what I would have liked for Doctor Doom.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
Is it
somebody's like
an example like
passionate
that?
about it.
exactly. My thing with this is people are like, oh well, he's gonna show up. He's gonna be in a mask. Because Doctor Doom traditionally wears a mask. He's gonna be hidden in the role, and wait till I tell you how much money he's making to do this. But I'm like, no,
I'm
there's
almost
no
afraid to
way.
ask.
As like the hardcore MCU fans are like the MCU is. I mean, you saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool, we're at a bit of a low point. So far as the overall cultural sort of zeitgeist of the thing. So bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and paying him over $80 million to do this just sort of screams that they really need him. And they really need you to understand that it's Robert Downey Jr. and he's coming back. So there's no way they're gonna hide him in a mask. And that,
And
like you said, bores the crap out of me.
it also just comes across to me like so when I saw him on stage and doing the announcement and like he's supposed to like they want you to believe he's really excited to do it, but you tell me he's making that much money and I hear, "Oh, so he has no passion for this and it's just a paycheck." Whereas if you brought in a
Exactly.
fresh face, you would feel the excitement, you would feel the passion and the joy of getting to do this character, and I don't feel that from him.
Yeah, I completely
Not for
agree.
this.
I don't know. And people are telling me I'm being cynical. I'm just not feeling this. I don't know. Look, I'm the kind
No.
of person though where I want my mind to be changed. I want my heart to be changed. I want to see a trailer and be completely like convinced that he's
Blown
Doctor
away.
Doom. Yeah. And I have hope for that Fantastic Four movie because they showed a trailer of it and they showed Galactus. And my big thing was Galactus needed to be a big person in a stupid costume, like a stupid I don't know if you're familiar with Galactus, but he's a big giant.
Last time they had him, they had the character
cloud. It was
Galactus.
awful.
He was a cloud, and the character is not a cloud,
But,
and it was upsetting.
They showed
just for a little bit of background.
Yeah,
there.
they showed test footage of him at Comic-Con. Sorry.
What was that, Anna?
It was not gonna be important. It was just like, I don't know. You mentioned Galactus, and I'm just like, my only reference to Galactus and like what that is just one of my partners had a Galactus like shaped metal bottle opener thing on the fridge, but it was so majestic looking, and I don't know.
But so you know what Galactus looks like though. That's the important part of this joke.
Yeah, I know Galactus looks like.
Okay, perfect. As long as you know what he looks like, you understand that he's stupid looking, right? Like that's I love Galactus, but he's from the 1960s and he's
silly.
got the big pointy hat. He's so silly. Yes, he looks
fun, silly hats and cool hair and
absolutely.
stuff. That was of the time.
I should be clear. I love when things look silly. Like it's silly is my default. Like I love silly, and I want that. I want that to be in this Fantastic Four movie. And they showed a teaser concept image, concept video of him as his face passes by a building, and it's a person, and I'm like amazing. Like I'm amazing. I'm like that more than anything makes me excited for the Fantastic Four movie. Like to be clear, I don't mind the cast. Like the only part of the cast I really like is I don't know if you watch Stranger Things. But you do. You know Joseph Quinn?
I'm up to date.
Oh, excellent, what? Perfect. Do you know Joseph Quinn? Chrissy, wake up.
Just wait. Can you say the character name?
Oh,
is that the actor
Eddie?
Name?
Eddie. Sorry,
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm like, don't really remember the actors' names that well in that one, but I remember like which characters are which. Okay, yes, I remember Eddie.
Totally. That's how Jordan operates. He doesn't remember actor names either. So I'm used to this. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. I can work with that.
I just know it was Eddie from Stranger Things.
He's gonna be the Human Torch. And he's the only one I'm excited for. Yeah, I'm excited for him as Human Torch.
That's cool. That's a sweet role.
What about okay? Let me try this one. Pedro Pascal.
Yes, I know.
Okay, perfect. Okay, even Jordan knows Pedro Pascal. He is Mr. Fantastic.
Okay, that's gonna be sweet. Oh man, the internet's gonna be swooning for Mr. Fantastic.
Look, I'm not. I kind of wanted to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of wanted to swing a bit younger with this cast, but I'm still into it. I like Pedro Pascal, so I'm willing to watch anything he does. Like
he'll make it fun. I think he'll make it fun
for sure. And it's apparently going to be like the 1960s retro futuristic kind of world.
Oh, yeah.
It takes place in a different. It doesn't take place in the regular MC. It looks very fun. I'm very excited for that. So
interesting.
Since you've watched Deadpool and Wolverine, let's talk some Deadpool. Yeah. Let's talk some. Oh yeah. Apparently, Ryan Reynolds knows why Thor was crying. Apparently. He knows why Thor was crying.
Are they gonna share with the class, or
and apparently,
I know,
apparently,
but not you.
Apparently, so does Chris Hemsworth. He also knows why Deadpool was crying, or he also knows why Thor was crying, I should say. So
is
all right. So
we'll find out one day.
Part?
I'm hoping we find out.
Oh.
That's all I'm saying. Some other fun. Some fun. It could be Deadpool 4.
Or in Secret Wars, he'll show up.
The whole movie could just be about why he's crying.
Well, apparently there's a slew of like alternate ideas for what this movie was going to be, and one of the ideas was the first half of it was just going to be Thor 2, but with Deadpool superimposed into it, which is, I'm guessing, where that footage of him with Thor comes from.
Probably.
Is that where,
probably.
There's another one.
I don't know that I would have liked that version. That movie isn't very good.
There's also another one where it was him and Dopinder on a fun road trip. It was just a smaller budgeted kind of indie movie where it's just him and Dopinder. Totally into
I
that
could have
as
been
well.
I could have been
That'd be
into
cool.
that.
Yeah, that movie needed more Dopinder. I decided that out the back of it.
I
I
love
do.
a holiday
Uh,
special or like a
Yeah, like a
side
Disney Plus
quest.
special or
And
something.
yeah,
that
just
would
a
have been
little special
fun.
short
Yeah.
film.
Like one of like the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas one.
Right. My
I didn't
thing.
even know there was
Wait,
one.
Sarah, have you seen all of the Deadpool movies?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. My favorite arc throughout that movie is Dopinder's arc, his romantic arc throughout that movie, and how it ends with him in a relationship with Shatterstar. I was down with that.
Aw.
Because they're I don't know. At least they're not meant to be together. They seem like they're together. And I'm like, you know what? He's gotten over. I forget who he was into in the first movie. He's gotten over him. He's realized who
his
he
love
is, and
interest.
he's in
I
a
don't
he's in
remember
a loving relationship now.
either.
I thought that was
So
funny.
he's chasing Romax. He gave me like Brock from Pokemon vibes, like mildly, if just
Oh,
like just
we're gonna talk
only
about
in the
Brock.
sense of the quest for Amory, you know.
Yeah, don't you worry. Don't you worry. We're gonna talk about Brock. You don't even worry about that. Don't even worry. We're gonna get
Yeah.
there. You're
Oh,
gonna
we'll
get
get
there.
there.
That's my Deadpool news though. I thought that was
Are
fun.
they eyes or eyebrows? We'll
I-
never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Oh no, sorry, cameos,
Um,
deleted cameos. I forgot to mention the deleted cameos. Sorry, John, go on.
I was gonna mention one from Deadpool that I had heard. That apparently for Deadpool and Wolverine, they approached Nicolas Cage to
Yeah.
reprise his role as Ghost Rider, and he turned them down.
Well, they said
What?
that it didn't work
That
out,
doesn't
and
sound like
they
Nicolas
wouldn't say
Cage, man.
why.
How
I
would he
read
turn down Ghost
I
Rider?
I read that he declined.
That's what he apparently when asked, because I read another interview, when asked, Ryan Reynolds was described as being cagey about it, like he was trying to change the subject.
Nick Cagey.
I didn't mean that. That's funny.
Hearing Nicolas Cage turn down that possible role
Well,
makes me wonder,
apparently,
like, Nicolas
'cause
Cage, are you okay? Like,
apparently the reason was because of because originally the next Avengers movie was going to feature Kang, and that, long story short, that whole thing didn't work out. And so they've repivoted to it being Doctor Doom. And originally, this is just a rumor, but the original rumor was that the first Avengers movie, they were going to carry forward that concept of anchor beings, and it was going to turn out that Toby is the anchor being for his universe. Nicolas Cage would be
Andrew
the anchor
Garfield.
being for his universe, and then it would have been revealed that Tom Holland is the anchor being for the regular Marvel universe, and they would have essentially failed in defeating Kang, which would have led to, they would have been the main cast of characters and would have led into Secret Wars. And because that didn't work out, that's why his cameo was ultimately canceled. That's just a rumor, though. I don't know if that's actually true.
Interesting if true. And the other thing that I saw, which I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I saw it on my Instagram the other day, is that the director wants to do a Deadpool Spider-Man movie, and I want that. I've never more wanted a thing currently than I want that, because I love both those characters.
I'm into it, but I have one condition. And it's going to surprise you both. It's got to be PG. PG to PG-13. I want to see Deadpool. I want to see Ryan Reynolds constrained within a PG rating. He's done it before. I want to see it.
I think that could work. It would harken back to the animated episode of the Ultimate one, where you had Spider-Man and Deadpool show up, and Deadpool keeps trying to swear and like say things and be like over the top, and Spider-Man has to keep going like whoa, like rein it in, like no, we don't do that here.
And I think it would be so funny.
That's what I would want it to be. I would want it to be Deadpool keeps trying to go over the top, and Spider-Man keeps like reining him back in and going like, no.
I would love for him to be completely aware that he's in a PG rated movie now, and he has to tone down his tone down the swearing and the violence and he's like, it won't be as fun, but.
Except like make it, or instead of PG, I would like make it PG-13 and be having the entire movie have him go like, I know I get one and I'm saving it.
That would be so good. That would be so fun. That'd be an excellent use of the one F-bomb in a PG-13.
I'm trying to picture like Deadpool just being PG, but it's still being like awesome. Cause like I kind of love like the raunchiness, the ridiculousness of Deadpool, but what if they made him like he gets like the little Ant-Man gun or whatever the heck. What if he was small, like a little small guy with Spider-Man, and then every time he's getting all antsy or whatever, it's just like a little shrunken, zoomed out moment. It's just like you can't tell what the heck. It's just little chittery, and then it's like a fun comedic moment, but it's still there.
It's so funny that
I'm
you
just
bring
thinking
up.
spider pool, but
That's good.
Spider-Pool.
That's funny. That's funny. That's good.
spider-sized Deadpool.
That's
it's
funny.
It's so funny you say that because I think we talked about this on a previous episode, but at one point there was a rumor that Ant-Man was going to be in the next Spider-Man movie. So that's totally possible.
It could work.
It could totally
He
work.
could be
I like those characters
Deadpool,
together too.
but he's a little spider guy.
That'd be fun.
He get a
That'd be fun.
costume with like extra little legs for some whimsy.
That'd be fun.
And if you ever doubt that Deadpool could work in like a PG or a PG-13 kind of thing, there's on TikTok it's circulating. They've had Deadpool and Wolverine have been at Disneyland doing like a story time thing.
Yeah.
And that's
really
kind of what I would expect Deadpool would end up being like in the Spider-Man movie, is kind of like that, where he makes a lot of jokes which like allude to things that adults get, but kids just go like it goes right over their head kind of thing. Like there's a joke that he makes about in one of the stories that I saw where he's like they share bunk beds, and he's like I take the top bunk and Wolverine's on the bottom. And
oh wow, that is a spicy joke for Disneyland. Man, that let Deadpool
vibes. I don't know.
Deadpool.
It made me laugh. Is the short version of that?
He makes it very clear in the beginning of Deadpool Wolverine. My boy's a switch. That's what I'm saying. It's
He
makes it exceptionally clear.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But okay, final cameo. That was supposed to show up is I don't know if you've seen we call it Fan Four Stick, but the 2014 Fantastic Four movie. With
you'd be forgiven if you don't remember it.
I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer for it before Deadpool.
Fair enough. Okay, if you're familiar, as long as you're familiar with it, it's got Miles Teller.
I've only watched it like once, so
fair enough.
You're forgiven.
I saw the old ones a long time ago and had a comic book of
totally fair.
Four one time.
But they were supposed to show up in Deadpool and Wolverine as well. Then that did not work out. And fun bonus cameo, they were actually supposed to be in Deadpool 2 as well. They would have been in Deadpool 2, and the Thing would have fought Juggernaut. There's actual concept art for it. You can look it up. When I eventually make this into a short, I'll include it. But yeah, there's concept, and you actually see they actually have proper you see it's like the Thing from that movie's got proper Fantastic Four uniform, and it looked like it would have been really cool, but yeah, it just never happened.
Interesting. I did not know that. I have learned something.
With that, let's do some Disney news. I think let's move into some Disney news.
Yeah, I have some thoughts about some of that. You sent me some trailers.
I sent Jordan some trailers.
I have some thoughts.
Let's begin with
what's the next live action one they're making?
We're gonna get there.
It's always something. Hold
on.
No. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Have you seen the Inside Out movies?
I've seen the first one. You
have not seen the second one.
Oh, you'll like the second one.
You'll like the second one. It's really good. It's Jordan can attest. I was laughing so hard. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. It's genuinely very funny. I don't want to give anything away. I'm not giving anything away. But if you like the first one, you'll love the second one. I
do plan to watch it eventually.
It's really good. But they announced
I would recommend it.
at D23, because me and Jordan, the big thing we said out of the back of that at the second one, we're like, oh, they clearly want to do an Inside Out TV show. When are they going to do an Inside Out TV show? This franchise is perfect for a TV show. And they announced they're doing an Inside Out TV show. But
did that?
It's not what you think. You think it'd be about Riley as a teenager outside. No, it's called Dream Productions, and it's about the productions of Riley's dreams.
Okay,
so that sounds really creative.
Interesting.
I know. Interesting. And no, it leads.
They can do anything in that kind of space. If that's the
parameters.
Right. I saw. So, tell me. Did you grow up watching the Toy Story movies as a kid, as a child?
Yeah, I did.
So tell me if you agree with this assessment. Jordan agreed with me on this one, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. I saw someone say that the Inside Out movies are this generation's Toy Story, and
Oh,
I think I agree with that. I think I do. I think I do agree with that.
I do.
I I can totally see that likeness. I'm like, I feel like Toy Story is just sort of its thing, but then so is Inside Out, and then like I don't know, and then yeah, I don't know, and then I would have thought maybe like never mind. For some reason, I was like, isn't like all the things to do with Minions kind of like the thing of. I feel like they've just been around a long time. That or Frozen, the two are as far as Disney goes. I'm like, I just see those everywhere.
I saw. It's funny about the Minions. The kids love the Minions. Like I saw someone. They make all sort. Like they make crazy money, and they never get any better. Like it's kind of incredible.
They're
All of
yeah,
relative
they're
quality to each
all
other.
the same.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Really.
They get
None
the
of
hit
them.
songs. They get
Yeah.
the pop song,
Is it the
the
needle
banger,
drops?
and then
I don't know, but
everywhere.
I would say that it's okay. You have the first Minions movie, or the first not Minions, the first Despicable Me movie, which is the best of them, and then the rest are kind of just all the same.
yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of my like. The first one for me, it started it, it made them. I like it. I think that it's just the best of them, and then the rest are just all. I don't have strong feelings one way or the other.
Yeah, I no, I like them. They're fun movies, but I saw people say I saw so many comments on the internet that were like, these movies are really bad. Why do they keep making them? And I responded with because the kids love them. They make a shit ton of money. Like it's they're
They're
incredible.
like
Because
yellow guys that like bananas a lot and
and they're
scream.
they're
They're
and
fun
incredibly
say
people, you know?
and say like nonsensical words that mean nothing and the
Yeah.
children can easily repeat.
oh sorry
They're incredibly memeable when you're
yeah
like
yeah
really
that's
small.
that's it.
Like
They're
and
Yeah,
fun sounds, they're like, whoa, fun sounds, love it.
they're
Love it.
incredibly
That's
like
all you need to say
exactly.
about it.
they're, they're
I
incredibly
totally see
sorry go on.
I think your comparison of like the Toy Story and the Inside or it, wow,
Inside
Inside
Out
Out
yeah
or
Inside Out.
now because I was just thinking more about it as I'm listening and I'm also just like, man, his Toy Story really is kind of like a coming of age and there's this kind of fun. But then I guess with like Inside Out, it's yeah, it kind of seems similar vibes.
I was when Toy Story 3 came out, I was the same age as Andy. And that very much was like it was a transitionary kind of moment into adulthood for me because I was like, yeah, it was watching my like a childhood character because I watched Toy Story 1 and 2 like thousands of times. It was like, oh yeah, we were the same age. It was time to like pass off this sort of franchise to the next
Yeah.
generation, which I
When
believe
when
we
he
did very, very
when he
handily.
says like goodbye at the end and it's like goodbye
Oh
Andy,
yeah. Oh, I choked
goodbye
up.
Woody. Like
Yeah.
I was so emotional.
It's like, who's the ninja cutting
That shit
onions
made
in
me
here?
cry real
Like,
And
hard.
and then the fourth one comes out and makes you go like, you had the perfect ending. Why?
yeah,
Why did you? Why did
but
no?
I think the
Is
fourth
that
one also has a great ending too, though. It's a really effective
is the
ending. Sorry, go
is
on,
the
Eric.
Sorry.
fourth one the oh
Sorry.
no, is the fourth one the one where the new toy is like something a child put together like a craft and then
Yes.
that
Yeah,
came to
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I had that's the only Toy Story I haven't seen, but I've been curious.
It's
That one is okay. It has things in it. It has things in it that I like. It brings attention to questions that once you start questioning the way this universe works, it
yes.
kind of falls apart.
Yeah. It's that kind of
Um,
movie.
it's one of those, and so that's where I say. And then there's just also, if you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna. I'll let you discover it on your
Yeah.
own. But there's just things in it that make me go like, you had a perfect ending with 3. This is just not. And so now they're making a 5th one, and
Oh,
I'm just like, we had the perfect ending 2 movies ago. You guys just
Yeah.
no,
The thing
just
about it,
no,
nobody
no.
asked the question of how the mechanics worked of how the toys came to life until yeah, Forky is the character you're referring to is a plastic fork that's been sort of strewn
Forky.
together with various pieces. You literally in the movie, I don't feel bad giving this away because it's in the trailer. See
Dude,
him
I don't even
come
care.
to
Spoil the
life.
heck out of it.
But you see him come to life like for the first time,
Okay.
and so you're like, well, okay, so is it magic? Like they're clearly sentient and self-functioning beings. So like,
And the worst part too is that Woody is confused by it. Like Woody is like sees him come to life and is like, what? Like,
yeah. And so
and so, like, if the toys don't even understand their own origins, why are you now making us question it? I never questioned
right,
this.
and it's like okay, so is it the child's belief that brings him to life? Is it magic? They at one point refer to quote the rules and how like revealing themselves breaks the rules, and then you're like, okay, well, if then how did in the first one, if this is all, how come Buzz thinks he's a real person in the first one? Do all toys start off that way? Clearly not, because Forky recognizes himself as trash. So like, and then these are all questions you've never asked before, but that fourth movie makes you ask. Like it's that kind of movie.
Does it explore it to the point where they like
Not even a little bit.
they find their answer? Oh my
No.
gosh!
Not even a
Wait,
little
I'm
bit.
actually curious. Now I'm fascinated. That sounds like a mind. There's a mind bender, but with Toy Story, and them just being like, "Wait, we're questioning our sentience and our creation."
That movie is more about
Whoa.
Woody letting go of his attachment to a kid. It's more Woody's story than it is anything. Yeah. It's
And that's where, like, I like
Whoa.
that part of it. I just, it,
I
they already
maintain the
had
ending
a
is
perfect
really good.
ending.
Yeah, but
I
I agree.
Well,
but
maybe that was one ending, and then they're doing a thing where it's like, all right, we're gonna try a new thing now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Well,
I
I've
don't
seen
know.
I've seen it described as Toy Story 3 is the ending, Toy Story 4 is the epilogue.
I agree with that. That I agree with. I would say
And that's
Oh,
kind
okay.
of that's kind of how I have to look at it, or it drives me
yeah.
crazy.
'Cause I will admit I started to get emotional at the end of the fourth one. So it's I maintain it's an effective ending. I fully understand why people don't care for that movie, but I maintain it's an effective ending. I think the fifth one though, they should do what you suggested, fully explain the origin. Have them explain where the toys come from, why they come to life, how the whole thing works. Just really get into the weeds of how this universe works. Like they should absolutely just do that.
My thing with the fifth one is, and if you don't mind us spoiling the fourth one and
Oh, go
Sarai,
ahead.
at the end of the fourth one, Woody leaves, but
Okay.
he's back in the fifth one somehow, some way.
Interesting.
Well, I mean,
I
to be
don't know
fair, what
why.
you sent me
And
was concept art, so it wasn't actually footage.
no, but they on stage, like, apparently they have said he's coming back.
Well, yeah. What I heard, the rumor for what the plot was they collect him and they have to go back to Andy, and they have to Andy's about to like get married or have a kid or something, and it's about trying to get back to Andy once more. He's an adult now, so go with the rumor. Don't know if that's
I
actually
could
true.
see them doing that, but like, I'd love it if instead it was like, I don't know, Woody just goes on this grand like Red Dead Redemption 3-esque adventure, except
That would
it's
be so
not,
much
except it's,
fun.
Oh,
it's kids.
that would be
But
so
imagine
much more
him in the
interesting.
world, just Woody just exploring the world, just
See,
doing
Yeah.
cowboy stuff. That'd be
That
fun.
would be way more interesting. Like we retire the other characters and Woody goes off on his solo adventure with Bo Peep, and we get to see their
Yeah.
perspective outside of the room, not living with a kid. That's to me, that is way more interesting of a Toy Story 5.
Look.
And then you get to from a marketing point of view of wanting to sell toys to children, you then get to create and make a whole slew of new characters that you can sell toys for.
You could
Here's
make a video game that is literally Woody doing that, and that would be actually really fun. I would love to
Right?
play
very fun.
a type of open world sort of questy game similar to Red Dead, except it's like it's Woody's adventure. I don't
very
know.
true.
Right, and it's Woody's adventures, and like part of the game aspect is like you have to avoid humans, and you can't be seen by humans. That you're right. That writes itself. Why are they not just doing that?
My
We should be in
Yeah.
charge of these decisions, guys.
I am all for any version of Toy Story that cuts out Tim Allen. It's I'm just any version of Toy Story just completely cuts out Tim Allen. Totally down for that. So okay, we're gonna do a really rapid. I don't know. We're gonna do a rapid trailer reactions. Just rapid trailers. If you guys have seen it, let me know. If you haven't seen it, I'll do my best to describe it. Starting off with. They displayed a new Moana 2 trailer, and it still looks like shit.
I watched that one. Really? I thought. Okay, animation levels aside, story wise, it actually
the story looks
trailer
fine.
this
No, the
one,
animation looks like shit.
because for your benefit, it was originally supposed to be a Disney Plus show, and then they managed to get the two lead actors to actually sign back onto it. So then they quickly propelled it to be in theaters.
Yeah. Like
Um,
full on, it
and
was like
so
like
animation wise, you can tell that it was going to be a
yeah,
streaming
and
show.
like full on, like they had a voice match for Moana and I Maui. They had a rock voice match, and I'm not gonna try to pronounce her name voice match. Um, to sound just like them, and it was gonna go to, and then yeah, they decided like last minute one of their previous movies bombed horribly, and they were like, well, the kids love Moana, and so then they stripped it for parts and they combined it into what is a movie. And if you've seen the trailer, it looks like it was. I don't know if you remember the straight to DVD Disney films yeah, it
Mhm.
looks like that.
Bartok's Adventure. Actually, wait, that was not Disney.
That's
But
about what I'm talking about, though. Yeah,
Similar,
yeah.
similar
that kind
idea.
of vibe.
That kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
Yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
look, it's the seventh land before time.
Yeah, and
it's
there's
like it's not
no
a
Yeah.
money. Yeah,
no more.
yeah. It's the seventh land before time, and the money's gone. Like, yeah, yeah. Don
Yeah.
Bluth is no longer involved. Like, yeah, no, it's yeah.
It's
That's the kind
it's
of quality
it's
we're talking
lost.
here.
Littlefoot's
It's
long
lost.
gone.
Yeah.
It's lost all spirit, and it's just a husk of its former self.
Oh, and it's really the trailer's so funny because they don't show the characters speaking. Like you notice you never see their lips move in that trailer.
Yeah, but the
Like,
story looks fun.
my favorite thing is how they really want to draw attention to the fact that the pig is there now. This is now the second trailer. They
Yeah,
have a totally
there's-
separate
there's a-
joke about how the pig is
That's
there
what they're
now.
gonna make the toys of. It's gotta be the pig.
Yeah.
They're like, look, you guys gotta think it's cute and really nice because that's what we're gonna make the merch of. And
Yeah.
the chicken.
Yep, they're gonna sell the pig now.
Yeah.
I think it's cute how she has a little sister now.
Yeah, the little did she have a little sister in the first one?
Oh no, absolutely not. She was a
So-
single child.
So the dad was like, I'm so sorry, but the dad was like, well, she's leaving, so we got to make another one.
Oh,
Honestly,
bold of you
though,
to
for
think
the
it was
time period, probably.
Probably.
Like,
Oh,
bold of you.
no.
Imagine being a civilization who straight up is like, our culture is you sail off to a land and you find new home and we may never see you again.
Yeah.
And then you're just sort of like, well,
Well,
it's not like you're trying to replace them, but you're just all like,
take two.
what, let's just have another kid?
Yeah, might as well.
We
But
got space. There's a vacancy.
I do
That's,
agree.
yeah,
She's cute though. She's
you know,
really fun.
and then you ship them off too.
But I am
I
going
just
to.
know that they
sorry.
did like a lot of anthropology research on like actual like Polynesian like cultures and stuff
Yeah.
for like making
They
Moana.
took it
That's the
seriously.
part that I'm really fascinated by.
I mean, actually having a Polynesian person play your lead, that's a big step for them. I have my opinions on The Rock, but we'll save those for another
It's
time.
just interesting world history, and then it's like, wow, Disney's adapted it into
Well,
this beautiful world.
Just as a quick aside, I got really into
Oh.
into the Emperor's New Groove. I don't know if you've seen the Emperor's New Groove.
Oh. Yes.
Yes, you have.
it's
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay. Did you know that movie was originally another movie called Kingdom of the Sun?
Oh, wait, that's vaguely familiar, but I'm like, I don't know where I'm remembering that from.
I'm gonna do one of my classic recommendations. It's a band. This is how sensationalized this is. It's a band documentary. It's kind of hard to find, but if you can find it, there's a
Yeah, they have really tried to bury it.
yeah, they
I
really
want to
have.
see the secret thought.
But it's
I love
called
documentaries.
The Sweat Box, and it's made by do you know who Sting is?
It's like Sting in the Police thing.
Yeah, Sting and the Police Sting. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm aware.
it's a documentary. I don't know if he's currently with her, but it was his at the time girlfriend. It was sort of meant to be a behind the scenes documentary. He initially was signed on to do the music for that movie for The Emperor's New Groove, and he was gonna be kind of like how the Elton John is to the Lion King.
Yeah.
That was gonna be Sting to it was gonna be called Kingdom of the Sun. So that
Got
was
it.
so
They were
he
trying
wrote-
to get their guy. They're like, we need our soundtrack person.
Yeah, basically this movie, and they went to Peru. Like this movie was going to be like a study on Peruvian culture. That's why it takes place in Peru. They went to Peru. They studied the locals. They did all this research, and it was this really elaborate. The lead was played by Owen Wilson. No, it was always David Spade, but Pacha was played by Owen Wilson. Ooh, wow, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
he was gonna be Pacha, and the gag was gonna be that they were identical, and it was essentially going to be a version of the the Prince and the Pauper. Um, and Yzma was going to be a
Mhm.
much more involved villain. She was still played by Eartha
She had a
Kitt.
song.
She had a song which you can look up. It's called "Snuff Out the Light." It's amazing. It is an anthem. It is a shame it got cut out.
I'm having
Um,
issues.
Oh no, it's happening.
you guys losing me?
See, so you see this. This is what I go through.
Okay, so then that
Yeah.
tells me
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
me.
yeah. Now I'm getting the
You're getting
inside
it.
view
Okay.
of what's going
Okay.
on.
So, am I back? We're just gonna have to push through. Give
Justin, we can't hear you.
it a second.
He'll catch up.
I'll catch up.
The freeze frames are fun.
So it's good to know that it's not just me.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
tells me we need a better computer. Ugh. Am I back now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Back?
you're back now.
I'm back. Sorry. So I was telling you guys about Kingdom of the Sun. Kingdom of the Sun. Yzma was a much more involved villain, and her whole thing was she hates the sun. And she worships the moon. She hates the sun because the sun is making her old. She's like super vain and into her youth. That's her whole thing. And that's what the movie was going to be about. It was going to be like this epic story about fighting the evil moon god who was trying to kill the sun, and it was this whole thing. And it was really steeped in Peruvian culture. And a Disney executive came in
had a
and
song.
said, she had a song, yeah. Disney executive came in and watched like the first like 30 minutes of the movie, and they hated it. They said it was awful, it was boring, it was confusing, it was convoluted. And I've read the notes on it, and I've read the script. It's honestly ahead of its time. Like had they tried to make it like even 10 years later in like 2000, like post like Frozen, they could have totally made it. But it just wasn't the right
Interesting.
time. Yeah, it absolutely aligns with Disney's current style of filmmaking, of storytelling, I should say. And then they completely rewrote it. They cut out, and so I should say Sting had written like 4 or 5 songs. And then they completely rewrote it, completely redid it. They kept all the cast who are in the final movie, and they only kept 2 of Sting's songs. The first of which is the opening song that you hear in the movie. The Cusco, that one. He's the king of the world. That one, and
the end credits.
the end credit song,
as well.
my funny friend and me, yeah. And he at that point was no longer really interested in dealing with the project, which is why nobody really knows that he was involved in it. But yeah, that's the short version. Really great documentary. If you're interested in like the behind the scenes stuff of how like animation works, it's really worth checking out. And then
it is actually very interesting.
Yeah, and then finally in my trailer roundup, the Mufasa trailer. I don't know if you know they're making a prequel to that
Mufasa film.
Sorry? Did you not know that?
Just a film about Mufasa? No.
Oh, okay, perfect.
It's a prequel to the photorealistic live action Lion King movie that they did a few years ago. It's a prequel to that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that no. Jordan, I'm gonna ask them some questions here. Don't interrupt. Okay. Sorry. Number 1, would you guess that Mufasa and based upon your memory of the original movie, are Mufasa and Scar blood related? Would you say? Like, do they share a parenthood? Did I lose you?
Oh no, sorry. I thought you were asking Jordan.
Oh no, sorry,
just...
for you, Soraya. Based upon your
sorry. My bad.
He very specifically asked me not to interject.
Yeah.
I didn't know who was being asked not to interject.
My apologies.
My apologies. Silent.
I am biting my tongue through this because I have strong opinions.
He has strong opinions.
Okay, so do I think Mufasa and Scar are related?
Yeah,
and I haven't seen the trailer. I didn't even know this was being made. So, is that the question? Like, do I think they're related?
Like, based on your knowledge of the original movie, or even what you know about Scar and Mufasa's background, like backstory, would you say that you would have thought that they were related by blood? Like they have the same parents, mom and dad?
I feel like I don't know enough information, but like in the animated ones, they said the bros, so that's like the most I know.
Okay.
But I could see there being some mystery to their actual ancestries that I wouldn't know.
So
As a
so
viewer
in the original movie,
yet.
just as a refresher, Scar is resentful of the fact that he's not the firstborn, and that I mean, if you high school English, it's Hamlet. It's Hamlet. He's the shitty uncle. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no, I remember it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've seen it a lot.
So okay. So Jordan, what are your number one beef with that Mufasa prequel?
My number one beef with the Mufasa prequel is that in the animated one, they're brothers. They come from the same mother. They are related, at least as far as we're knowledgeable and what we're told of in that movie. Even in terms of so with the live action Lion King movie, they follow that same plot thread. They're brothers. That's what they tell us. And then in this Mufasa movie, big spoiler alert, we find out that Mufasa was actually an orphan
Yeah, it doesn't
and
make any
yet
sense.
somehow becomes king, even though Scar, or Taka as his actual name is, um Scar is the actual prince and is the one who actually has the blood right to be the king, but for some reason now the orphan who does not have any claim to the throne somehow gets the throne. It just doesn't make
Well,
sense.
it looks like
Yeah, it doesn't really
based
track.
upon the trailer, which Sarah has not seen, but they introduce an antagonist in this trailer, a bigger, like, pure white lion, and it looks like basically the
Who appears
title
to
of
be from a different he
different
appears to
pride.
be from a different tribe.
Yeah, different pride. And
Mm,
the idea appears
okay.
to be that, based upon this trailer, that there are different rivaling lion prides, and stop me when this sounds familiar. That they need one king to unite all of the prides, and become the Lion King, ruling over maybe a Lion King throne, perhaps.
The Lion Kingdom.
It's Game of Thrones. It sounds like Game of Thrones. I was being subtle. You guys weren't picking up on it. Sorry.
It made me think. I thought Lord of the Rings for a
Oh, you
second.
could have said, okay. Lord of the Rings is
The one-
a fair guess. It's a fair guess. No, it's Game of
I,
Thrones.
I thought you were I thought you were like you were making allusions to Avatar, like there's the four nations
Oh,
and he has to become the Avatar,
I did think
the
that as I
Avatar
was saying it,
lion.
and I was like, oh, there's a chance they think I'm talking about
Ooh,
Avatar. That's why I went. It's Game of
I'd
Thrones.
like it if Mufasa was an Avatar lion. That'd be sick.
It just inexplicably
That's some live action
in
lions I'd
water.
watch.
But I just this movie
It's
looks
from Bender.
bad.
It does. It still looks bad.
It looks
It still looks
bad, and I just can't. And it just this is a nitpicky thing, I know, but it drives me crazy when people call it the live action Lion King. It's not live action. It's animated. It's the photorealistic Lion
I don't
King.
think anyone's
Let's use the
calling.
correct terminology.
I don't think anyone's calling this one the live action one. I think the only reason why anyone ever called the last one the live action one was to distinguish it from the animated one. But I get your gripe. I really do.
It's I know it's a minor nitpick, but it drives me crazy.
And
I
so
hope
then
that some people are having fun making it at least.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be
that is the end of the news, guys. But I wanted to end the news with one thing. I promised Jordan last season a mystery story. I said there was a mystery story, and being that this is,
I forgot about that.
I knew Jordan forgot about the mystery story. For your benefit, I have a secret story hidden away. For I'm now realize is gonna. I have to wait for the right moment to reveal the mystery story. But since this is the season 3 premiere and we have a special guest, I will give away one detail about the mystery story. One detail.
all right.
Okay.
It's about a movie. That's the detail. That's what you get. That's all you get.
Wow.
That's what you get. That's all you get.
About a movie.
Very
movie.
broad.
Is it okay?
It's about a movie.
I now have more questions than
about a movie.
answers, and
That's it. That's all you get.
he
That's all you're
knows
getting.
this. He knows this
He
is going to
literally
drive
doesn't
me
know. This
crazy.
isn't a bit for the show. He has no idea what the mystery story is.
We've lost
so
him.
the audience. Oh, sorry. Come back.
Hold that thought.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, okay, we get it. It's about a movie
No, I was gonna say, this isn't a bit. You legit have no idea what the story is.
of this movie.
Yeah, the mystery story. Like this is not a bit we're playing up
Yes.
for on air. You have no idea what the mystery story is.
Oh no, I had no idea. You refused to tell me.
Yeah, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you.
I goofed off or something.
That's it. That's it. That's the end of the news. Let's move into to the sponsorship. And since we have a guest,
I will get it out of him eventually.
You will when I reveal it in good time. Since we have a guest, Soraya, this is the moment where I always ask the people who are here if you've got something you wanna share, you wanna plug, you wanna sell. This is your moment. This is your time. The floor is yours. Sell whatever you like. And when the podcast is over, send me a link. I'll put it in, if I'm allowed to, I'll put it in the description.
Cool. I realized at the beginning when you guys were asking me to introduce myself, I just said my name and didn't say anything about me.
That's cool. This is the time.
Yeah, hi. I'm I'm an artist. I dabble in many different things, music and other art forms. Yeah, when it comes to all of it, Soraya Fox is my handle. So yeah, I'll say that.
Here's what
I
I'll
don't know
ask you.
what y'all rate this at.
I'll go ahead and ask you. Do you have like a public Instagram that I can put in the description? Because
Got it.
Yeah.
It's
people can
Soraya
find
Fox.
your artwork, if you will.
Soraya Fox, with 2 X's.
Is that
And,
the
yeah,
is that the Instagram that I followed you on? Is that the one that like okay, cool. I'll put that in the description.
Yes. That is my only Instagram I really am active on.
Cool. Okay, that's cool. Okay. So, yeah, go check them out. They have added an excellent dynamic to this, and they're here for a very specific purpose. And it's time to finally get to that. It's time to talk about some anime.
Hooray! Am I still there?
Okay.
Or
I hear you, but your video is currently you're coming back online.
Yeah, you'll come
Okay.
back. Remember how we said
video
Instagram Discord sucks?
This is the Discord experience.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing my own freeze frame, but if you can hear me, then cool. Cool.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. It'll catch up eventually. How the show typically works is we do it in this section of the show, we do it in 3 sections. We do it rapid fire, main report, and have not seen. This is the point when we have guests, I should say. I ask, did you manage to watch any anime this week?
I have watched anime this week.
Perfect.
I've watched Princess Mononoke.
Excellent.
Wolf.
Good choice.
Excellent.
And Beastars.
Perfect. So this is how
awesome.
How we'll do this. I also watched Princess Mononoke.
Sweet.
So I think we usually do this in kind of a round table fashion. So I think normally I let Jordan go first, but I always like to be kind of my guest, and I let them go first. So I think a good place to start is Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
What did you think? What do you feel about Princess Mononoke? How do you feel about it? Did you obviously you like it, you watched it, but tell me about your feelings about it.
Princess Mononoke. First time I saw it, I was like in the 8th grade, and when I saw it, I was so quickly was like, I absolutely love this film. I love the world, and the themes of the I don't know, just with the nature and stuff is I found really cool. And I don't know, you watch like a really cool dude like riding around on an elk and a wolf princess riding around on wolves. I was like, man, I want to do that. It looks so free and fun. So I don't know. Those are some of my initial thoughts.
It's so pretty. Like it's like all of his movies are pretty, but that one in particular, it's beautiful. Like it looks like a painting. Like that's just the best way. It looks like a painting in motion.
I have to confess, I've never seen Princess Mononoke.
You should watch it. It's good. It's a good. It's. I think it might be. I don't know. I just flash forward. I also watched Boy and the Heron. We're gonna talk about that.
Sorry.
I couldn't find a place to watch that on the internet. I was so bummed out, but I wanted to watch it.
I don't want to I don't want to spoil anything too much, but we're gonna get into that. But I think this might Princess Mononoke maybe might be his best movie. Not my favorite, but I feel like it's his opus. It's like the film he had the absolute most passion about. So much, like I read how he redrew like hundreds of shots like by himself. Like he put so much. There's so much care has gone into this movie, and it's just so well made.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I agree. It gives me like I don't know. It's like if Miyazaki and David Attenborough like came together to make a piece of art, I
Yeah,
feel like Princess Mononoke is kind of that because it's like, this fun magical whimsy of just Miyazaki world in general and but then combined with like these real life like tones of like, hey, humans are destroying the environment in the forest and like
no,
critters are fighting back and like look how cool and then Ashitaka and like Yakul's like friend like kinship, just
yeah.
different species of critters just vibing and like I think that like their love and that is so cool and powerful and I don't know, it makes me feel
The
it gives me Ambro vibes of like look at these beautiful.
the thing I love about doing one of the things I love about doing this show is getting to watch a bunch of a filmmaker's films and seeing themes and ideas and like design aesthetics carry from film to film. And yeah, he really feels passionate about environmentalism. Like that's a theme that's
Oh
constantly
yeah.
present in his movies. He that I don't know if he's still alive. I think he is, but he very much feels passionately about the environment, and it shows, and his respect for nature. But here's a theory I want to posit to both of you, and I'm going to make the case for it as I go through the Miyazaki films. I think that all of the Miyazaki films take place in the same universe. I don't know if that's like a popular theory, but I think they all take place at various times in the same universe in different
I
places.
oh okay, at various times. That makes it make more sense to me.
Yeah,
Because I was gonna say there are some of them which take place like during very distinct time periods. Yeah, I could see the argument.
I
Um,
I have a
so
reasoning for it that agrees with this movie.
some of the more magical ones, like My Neighbor Totoro or Secret World of Arietti, I kind of question that a little, and Kiki as well. I question that a little bit, but I could see the argument.
But here's the through line, and again, as we go through them, I'm going to make the case. But they all exhibit magical characteristics, though, right? So they all exist in a world that contains magic. And
Hmm.
a big character in this movie is the Forest King, and it takes place in feudal Japan essentially. And I really like how in this movie, much in the same, I think we talked about Star Wars in a previous one, how much I like it when Star Wars stuff makes the case that the Jedi suck actually. I like how Princess Mononoke, like you're understood, a lot of people culturally understand that samurais are like somehow inherently noble, and they're inherently like decent people. And I really like how this movie's like, no, man, they're not good. You don't want samurais to show up. They're gonna make your day worse.
Aren't they?
Um,
Aren't they basically just soldiers? Like they just
they're like
do what they're
mercenaries.
told.
They're basically
Mercenaries?
mercenaries. Yeah,
Okay,
they'll do whatever for
fair
whatever.
enough.
Yeah. Um,
Um, the only one that I guess I really question about fitting into the world is and mostly because it's so not magical is I can't remember what it's
uh,
called. The one that was
the
about the
the
planes.
wind rises.
Yeah, the wind
The
rises.
wind
That's the only
rises.
one that I kind of
I was gonna rewatch that when I ran out of time. I have a case for that based on like the dreams are kind of sort of more magical, so that's where I'm like, well, maybe the magic of the world, and to be fair, not the entire world necessarily has to be magical. But my reasoning for it though is, sorry, Jordan, I have to spoil the ending of this decades old movie, but it ends with the Forest King, ends with the Forest King dying basically. They
Oh.
yeah there's a the whole thing is the Princess Mononoke, the title character, is kind of guardian of the forest, sort of, right? That's am I correct me if I'm doing this wrong. Oh,
Oh, we've lost audio.
lost audio. I can't hear you.
Did you mute your headphones by accident, maybe? Or did your headphones die? Are they wireless?
Possible their headphones died.
Okay. Can you
Okay,
hear
they're
me
back.
now?
They're back. Okay.
There we
Okay.
go. Now,
Sorry.
now
Okay,
we hear you.
it's the HD webcam that disconnected, and then I think.
Okay. Sorry.
Ugh.
I don't. I didn't. I missed everything you said. So start from the beginning.
That's all good. Can you still hear
Correct me
me?
if I'm doing it
Oh,
wrong.
I was gonna say like I'm unclear if like the Forest King actually dies because like they chop off we talk about it they chop off the head, the
Yeah.
guy's like wandering around and he turns into this like goopy, like it's killing everything it touches type of splurge everywhere trying to find their head, and then Ashtaga offers them back. Well, no, they offer them back the head, and then it's like be at peace, and then like you see them put their head kind of back on and like kind of just wander away, and then all of a sudden wherever all that ick was touching that had killed the forest, all these new growth and new sprouts and all this green, like there's such a long still scene of the shot and you just watch as like over top of like Iron Town it's all crumbled and stuff and destroyed, and you see all this green like quickly grow back. And I don't know, to me I'm kind of like I think there's some it's maybe just like in a state of like regeneration but not quite like death because there's all
So
this new life that starts to emerge, and then they kind of talk about it a little bit, like Son I think mentions it, so I don't know.
interesting. So okay. So that
From what you
definitely.
guys are describing, it sounds to me like it lives.
Yeah.
But it's regenerating itself, so that actually does.
Yeah.
It strengthens my theory, which I'm going to continue in My Neighbor Totoro. But I'm going to let, unless you have more to say about Princess Mononoke, I'm going to let Jordan do his first rapid fire. Unless you got anything else.
I mean, I would just recommend giving it a watch if you've never watched it.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
good
This is where we recommend stuff to Jordan. Jordan, go watch Princess Mononoke. You'll really like it. You like his other movies, you'll like it.
Okay,
Jordan is the
I'll
stand-in
add
for
it
the
to my
audience a
list.
lot of times. Jordan, what is your first rapid fire?
My first rapid fire is Spirited Away. Another Ghibli. I love I love it's so fun. I mean I think we've all seen it, right? You both have seen Spirited Away.
Yeah.
No,
Yes, I have. I believe I have.
do you do you need me to do a run through, Justin?
No. I know it well enough. I have a point about this
Okay.
one. I have another overall point about all these movies, particularly the dub. Okay, dub versus sub. Dub or dub. When it comes to Miyazaki movies specifically, Soraya, do you prefer to watch them in Japanese or English?
Oh, English, just because like I'm dyslexic, so straight up reading as a part of watching anything as an extra task is distracting and
Totally
annoying.
respect that. That's gonna make this way easier for me.
And they
I'm
did a good voice
I'm
acting in the, I think.
I'm more of a dub guy as well
Yeah.
because for me when I have to have the added task of reading, I find that a lot of times my attention is on the words and less on the stuff that's going on behind the words.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I kind of there's a disconnect and I kind of
I
lose a little bit of it.
I can do it
So
if I'm. Sorry, go on.
I tend to prefer the dub as well, is what I was gonna say.
I was gonna agree with you and say I can do it with the subtitles, but I have to entirely focus on the subtitles. If I pull away to look at my phone even a little bit, gone, lost. I have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
So I totally get. I tend to prefer watching stuff dubbed, except for when it's live action. But for the Miyazaki films in particular, I found that the voice acting in those movies typically tends to be bad. Especially in Spirited Away, it's so stilted. It's so stilted.
I don't know that I would say bad is the right word. It's different. They do in some of the examples they do tend to talk a little bit slower or a little bit different, but that's because they're trying to sync up with the lip flaps.
Yeah. Well, what made me appreciate.
But I find that it just really depends on who the voice actor is and how talented they are. Because, for example, to jump ahead to one of my other ones, in The Secret World of Arrietty, for example, that has two different English dubs. It has the American one, which I don't I don't think that one is very good, and I do think that one is very stilted, just like you're describing. And then it has the British one, which I think is much stronger and does a much better job than the American one does. So I just think it depends on who the voices are and who's doing it.
I spoiler, I do agree with that because I
like
depending on the
okay,
sorry, go ahead.
Like, cool.
I just it's I find it to be kind of wooden. I find some of the performances to be wooden, as particularly from like the celebrity voice actors who have clearly I appreciate the art of voice acting. So like my ear tweaks when I hear a celebrity who has clearly never done a voice acting performance before, trying to do voice acting. Or I guess a better way to put it is I watched a video with the girl who plays currently plays Ash, the current voice of Ash. And she described the process of
the less good, the less good one.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but anyway, she described the process of lip flapping, and she like dubbing in particular, and she says it's an art, and you can tell. And I discovered this as I was watching these Miyazaki films. You could tell which celebrities have that reverence and which ones don't. Like they're just there for the paycheck. They know that Disney is they just saw Disney because there's a lot of these post Disney and they just saw the paycheck. Princess Mononoke, amazing voice acting. Like the performances in that movie were phenomenal, and I was like, oh, that maybe changed my mind on it. Sorry, I've Spirited Away did not.
I feel like I've never watched, and I've watched like at least every music or Ghibli movie I've seen so far. I've always watched in English dubs, and like I don't feel like I've ever had a moment where I've been like, a voice is so just something about it that it like breaks me being able to just like be
enjoying
the film. Yeah, like I feel like there's always something about the world, the story, like so much in the whole that I'm like I'm just in it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing too. Is and this is where Justin and I are we diverge a little bit. Where he kind of tends to that stuff bothers him more. I see what he means, like, especially with Spirited Away. The way that the main girl talks at times, I kind of see. I get what he's saying, but it just doesn't bother me.
For me,
I can remove myself from stuff like that.
For me, because I watch anime in Japanese. I mean, I watch quite a bit of stuff in Japanese, especially in Miyazaki films, the Ghibli films. You could tell in Japanese there's a lot of silent moments, and America doesn't like silent moments. They feel that every time there's a silent moment, you need to fill it with dialogue. So there's a lot of moments where it's like, yeah, you could tell this character isn't actually saying anything. They're maybe screaming or and that happens a lot. It's the worst one is Secret World of Arietti. We're gonna get there. We're gonna talk about that one because that was the one where we turned to each other in the theaters and we went, does the audio not match up to the lip flaps for you? And that was like the one time Jerome was like, yeah.
Well, that's where that's where I say the American version is particularly bad. The UK version was far better. I find.
Fine. But sorry, Jordan. Did you have anything major you wanted to say about Spirited Away before we move on?
I mean, it's a classic. All of the Studio Ghibli movies are classics. It obviously it's a sliding scale. I have ones which I think are better or that I have more fondness for than others. But I'm always going to have a soft spot for pretty much all of them, and on one level or another. And I mean, there's a deep reverence from a lot of people for Spirited Away, and I absolutely understand why. It's fun. It's cute.
So my, I guess, technically official first rapid fire is My Neighbor Totoro.
That's his first one, right?
No, it's not. It's actually not his first one. I thought it was his first one because obviously the logo is Totoro, but
I thought it was the first one.
It's not. No, he did like one more before that, which I wanted to watch, but again, I ran out of time. I saw someone describe it as the world's most wholesome movie. It truly is.
Aww. I can see that.
It's cute. It's a cute one.
So you've both seen My Neighbor Totoro, right? Obviously.
At one point, yeah.
For a second, just to like show and tell a little thing.
Oh, awesome. That's so good.
I know it's a really
so that means I can gush over this movie.
But Yeah,
Um,
Totoro is one of my absolute favorites. So.
For the audio listeners, she just showed us her sick Totoro tattoo.
For Sarai, when
I
she
got some
listens later in the
Totoro ink on
future,
my
or
leg.
when they listen to it again in the future, yeah, you showed your own tattoo. um, um, no, once again, animation stunning. Like the thing I love about um clothes, the way he animates clothes, like how they look so flowy and free, and like fur and texture, like its texture in his movies looks so good. And I just love how it's another one of those movies where there's no real conflict like in it. Yeah, it's like the mother's sick, and there's a bit at the end where there's like there's a high point of the story where they're trying to find the little girl, but there's never any real danger. Like the story isn't like world ending. I do think
whimsical.
I do think that when the older sister's like, "Do you want mom to die?" That's a lot to lay on a 4-year-old, but it is otherwise. So my case for why I think these movies are in the same universe, I think that Totoro, because they mention how he's the Forest King, I think he's the reincarnation or the reformation, as you have now put it, of the previous Forest King. Because a big point about My Neighbor Totoro, I first watched the movie when I was in high school. I took Japanese in high school, and my teacher made us watch that in Japanese without any subtitles. And for extra credit, we had to figure out what year it took place in without looking it up, without Googling it. And I'm gonna. It's not too much of a challenge, but what pop quiz hot shot? No, what year do you guys think it takes place in?
It's been a while since I watched it.
I actually don't know. I didn't bother to look it up, but I'm just curious what you think.
from the
time period. What
yeah,
period?
he's like
year. What year
time
do you think
period.
it takes place? Yeah. You know what? I will look it up while you guys try to guess.
I'm gonna guess they have a bus, which means they have automobiles.
90s. I'm guessing 90s.
You say 90s? Okay.
I'm guessing 90s.
Okay.
Actually, no. There isn't like technology in it.
I'm gonna guess the 60s.
60s. Interesting.
60s or 50s.
Interesting. Sorry, hold on.
I feel like it's its own realm of time.
I can't remember what.
No, it actually does take place. That's the answer. It's timeless.
It actually does take place in a specific year.
Again, to be fair, it's been a while since I've watched it, so I'm just going purely off memory. But I'm gonna
it's
60s.
Jordan was the closest. It takes place in 1958 Japan, and the reason why I'm
pretty close.
You're pretty close. Yeah. And the reason why I tweaked into that this time was because they're using a rotary phone, and he receives a telegram.
Oh yeah.
Telegram is a ancient concept.
That's where I say it's been so long since I've seen it. I'm just picturing the the cat bus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, they've got that style of cat bus. What would that be? And that's where I'm kind of like 60s seems right ish.
Yeah. Just overall, I love it. I love how the kids feel like kids. Like my favorite character in the movie is the little boy who like has a crush on the older sister and like walks up to him in the rain, just hands her the umbrella silently and like walks away. It's so cute.
Very adorable. That's what I find with a lot of the Studio Ghibli movies. They're cute. Like they just make me feel squishy inside.
So Jordan, do you have any more Ghibli films?
Yes.
How many more?
I have 2 more.
2 more? Okay.
2 more.
Okay. Jordan, what's your next Ghibli film? Let's keep these thematic. What's your next Ghibli film?
The next Kiki or well now you know. The next Studio Ghibli film is Kiki's Delivery Service.
My favorite.
Which I have a deep nostalgia for. It's probably my favorite Ghibli movie.
My favorite Ghibli movie. Yeah. That movie is
real cute.
I watched it so many times growing up as a kid. This is where I love it.
I have to tell a personal anecdote. I've told this story before in a video somewhere, but it makes me laugh every time. So this movie, for those of you who have never seen Kiki's Delivery Service, it is a cute little movie about a nice little girl who rides a broomstick and delivers baked goods to elderly people. That's what the movie's about in broad strokes.
Yeah.
My grandmother refused to watch it because she's a religious woman, and witches ride brooms, and she was like, I will not watch it. But this nice movie about a nice young lady who delivers baked goods to elderly people. She herself, an elderly woman, would not watch it, refused to. I tried to convince her, but yet she would watch The Lord of the Rings. Go figure.
Pretty metal.
Go figure.
Like,
Go figure.
Go figure the logic there.
Go figure the logic there. But yeah, that's what I remember. The thing I remember about that movie is there was a it wasn't even the movie. There's the commercial for Howl's Moving Castle that was a trailer that was on the VHS tape, and I just remember that movie just never came out. And I was like, I always wanted to watch it, but I remember the trailer for it.
Hold on, Justin, we've lost you.
Wait for it. Boop. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No, I didn't catch most of that. I can hear you now.
I just said my biggest memory about the Kiki's Delivery Service is the trailer for Howl's Moving Castle on the VHS tape.
I love Howl's Moving Castle. Holy crap, it's one of my favorites.
But
I like that one.
So many favorites, but
that's where I talk about.
That's where I like.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying something. Sorry. Sorry.
We're having so many issues today.
Oh, am I still cutting off again? Okay.
We need to get a new computer.
We really do. Okay. Tell me when you can hear me again. No, we as in me need to.
Oh.
Tell me when you can hear me again.
Oh, I was talking about Howl's Moving Castle.
Yes. What were you saying? Yeah, you were saying something about Howl's Moving Castle. Sorry.
Oh, just that it's one of my faves, and then I don't know, just something fun that inspired me. That's like I don't know, like I know Jordan, we've talked about this, where it's just like I don't know, I can let my silvers grow out, but then like it was why I was kind of like, oh, I really want silver hair someday.
Sorry, you want
I don't know, the way they play around with like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
it was partly inspired by that, because like I don't know, I thought the way they played around with like the concept of like age and that type of like magical world and stuff was really, really fun.
Oh, I've lost you. Maybe I'm the issue, because I am struggling right now.
I think it's probably me. Because the issue is I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it.
I've lost. I keep losing. I keep losing both of you, so I think it might be me today.
Okay. Well, give it a minute. It always
unstutters itself. Am I audible to both of you?
Mm-hmm. You're audible.
I hear you.
I can hear you.
I don't hear him. Currently, for me with him, I'm just seeing his profile picture, and a little like bar which says that I have one bar with him,
Let's just turn that back on and off to see what happens.
He catches up eventually, but it's struggling today.
Yeah.
Have either of you guys seen?
Have we seen what?
Sorry.
Oh, because you were asking questions before about like theorizing, like, oh, is the whole like Ghibli universe all like connected, like one universe sort of thing?
Yeah.
And I'm curious if either of you've seen the movie Pom Poko. It's one of their earlier films.
Oh,
where they got really.
Sorry.
The pig people.
The pig people.
It's with the Tanuki. Nope, that's a different one. No, it's the one with the Tanukis. So.
So is this what this feels like? Sorry, you went. Sorry, I lost you. You went and then got very excited and then just disappeared. Ugh.
My bad. Okay, so that film, the pacing of it is very unique and strange, but in a great way, where half of it is like this, whenever it's from the Tanuki's world perspective, it's all fantasy and magical and very like that, and then there's another half where every time it's from like the human perspective, or just it's almost like a documentary or a docu PSA about like the environment. type of
Interesting.
a thing, and you just see the Tanukis as like the animals in the world. And I think with Miyazaki films, I think it's like all one universe, but the perspective shifts per story based on because when it's coming from like the animals and in that thing, that's where it becomes the magical and alive. But then when it was like there's like that whole when it's like the realism, there's that version too. Like they coexist, but perspectively, it's like I don't know. That movie's fun. It's like
It's
man,
also
oh yeah.
it's also the
So
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna
Half
say, I do have an answer to your theory about if it's all in one world, but I'm gonna hold on to it until we get to one of my have scenes, because it connects. So I'm gonna hold on to my perspective for now, and we'll come back to me later.
So when it comes to go back to Totoro real quick, I believe I don't know if I said this right, but I believe that Totoro is the Forest King from Princess Mononoke. So I believe that's the same, and this is his current form, his current because he's referred to in that movie as the Forest King. And you also see the soot monsters from that movie. They appear, I believe, in Spirited Away. They show up.
Oh, there are suit monsters and Spirited Away. Yes.
Yeah, it's the same because the spirits that appear in these movies, they're all based upon. And I don't know if they're directly based
Actual
upon
deities and river gods and stuff like that.
in
Yeah.
Japanese
Spirited
mythology.
Away, Spirited Away in particular, I definitely believe connects to Totoro because Totoro is just a forest spirit.
Yeah.
So he could theoretically show up at the spa in Spirited Away. That's absolutely within the realm of possibility. But in terms of the world, it all being one world, like I said, I have a solution or an answer for you. It just has to wait.
Jordan, is that it for Ghibli rapid fires?
No, I also have the Secret World of Arietti.
Oh yeah, let's just do that real quick and just to talk. No, or can we skip that one because we already talked about the dub? Because I want to do Pokemon next.
Oh, we're just really jumping around today. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we can. I mean, we've already talked about it. It's cute.
It, right?
Little cute girl meets little cute boy. It's cute. It's fun. I like it. We've done it now. We can move on.
It's an adaptation of the Borrowers. Borrowers.
The Borrowers.
Yeah, the Borrowers. It's an adaptation of that. Yeah, it's really cute. The American dub is really bad. It's David Henry and Bridget Mendler, and they're lazy. It's bad.
Yeah, the UK version, the boy is Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
That's fun.
Before he's Spider-Man, so before he,
Jordan, let's talk about the Pokemon show first. Because you watched the Pokemon show, right?
Oh. Yes, I did. Well, I watched like the first 20 something episodes. That's all I had.
Or is that
that's all I had time for it. No, this is a rapid fire.
Yeah, okay. Do you have? Or maybe we'll throw the guess. Soraya, how do you feel about the Pokemon anime, particularly the dub, the original dub?
I love it. It holds a very large place in my heart. There's times where I'm like, oh man, as an adult, it's a little hard to rewatch it. Just sometimes for some of it, pacing wise, but also it's
a little bit.
But, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But at the time, I like mad love it, and I still like have love for it. And then there's some like parts in the anime where I'm like, okay, like there's some like really cool stuff going on. So
right? I mean,
there's some stuff that I'm impressed they were able to get away with. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
For a children's show in particular.
I love how gender fluid James is.
I mean,
love
he's
that.
totally
they had the most fun.
I spent that entire series. I mean, to be fair, I stopped watching it when they fired the original voice cast and hired all new cast members. But I was always kind of hoping
that's when they when they lost me.
That's when they lost me. But I was always hoping that Jesse and James would wind up together. That was always my dream.
They are together, just they're
romantically together though.
For life.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no.
I always wanted them, to get together, like in the same way that early on they had the idea that Misty would be into Ash. I was always kind of hoping that but the
idea. I mean, she was definitely into Ash.
Well,
they on the 2B. on the on the To Be a Master CD, they have a whole song about how she has a secret love for Ash,
Yeah,
and
she sings
like
to
she
him
wants
while
to
he's
be with
asleep.
him. She was totally into
Yeah, but
Ash.
they eventually cut it out. They wrote it out because it just never
Not
went.
not in here they didn't.
But
Not
yeah,
in
Ash is too
here.
focused on the poke being a Pokemon master to just notice that there's like this beautiful woman that's just like, hey, I really like you. And he's like,
oh for
no,
sure.
I've got to train my guides. I don't even
Uh,
have a second of attention in that direction. He's so oblivious.
uh, I mean, in his defense, he
So
is 10.
relatable.
He's a 10-year-old boy, and that's pretty
Also
on
child.
par.
That is true. I
Yeah,
mean,
You know,
fair.
I just had
that's
the thought.
Crushes
pretty.
make sense, but
Um,
just
I had the thought
being
when I
kid
was
in the world
watching
makes more sense.
my Pokemon thing. I was like, the concept of a Pokemon master is kind of nebulous, isn't it? They never really define exactly what it means. What is it exactly does he have to achieve to become a Pokemon master? And then when you
uh,
just said he's 10 years old, I'm like, he has no idea. He doesn't know what
he
that
has no
means.
he has no idea, but the real answer is he has to catch them all.
Because, toys.
All. He has to catch them all to be the
Gordon,
best.
do
Like
either of you, I
like no
guess,
one ever was.
before we move on
You
to
gotta
my
complete the Pokedex. That's the
gotta
game
complete the
rules.
Pokedex.
That's the game
That's
rules.
how you became a
Yeah.
Pokemon master. That's true.
It becomes an
Complete
ever more impossible task as they add more Pokemon.
See, I
Yeah,
I always get to the
it
point
never
where
stops.
I always get to the point where you have to trade with friends, and it's like I'm missing two, and I'm like I can't be bothered, and then I've never
See,
completed a
I,
Pokedex.
I always get to the point where I have to trade with friends. Look at my at my Pokemon game and go like, "Oh wait, I have none."
I wasn't gonna say it. You said it, not me.
See, that's why you have two machines, and then you
Uh,
trade with yourself, and you play both versions, and then you complete the decks. And sometimes you get real lucky on Wonder Trade.
Now that the Wonder
Because I
Trade
the
also don't
the
have friends that play Pokemon games with me, but then I was like, I'll just play two different games on two different systems and trade amongst myself.
mystery
when they
trade.
put in the Wonder Trade, when they put in the Wonder/Mystery Trade, that was the greatest thing for me because suddenly I could get all the
So fun.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
you just keep putting in,
Yeah.
keep putting Machamp until you, or Machoke until you get a Machamp back. Eventually, you get a
Sometimes you'll
Machamp
get a
back.
shiny one that's spawned. It's clearly like a made Pokemon, like by some company, and their nickname is just like some website.
Oh yeah,
Anybody
those are my
else?
Yes, yeah.
favorites. Yeah, where it's like it's
Like,
clear. It's
I've
like
got
a.
so many all in a box like that. Like all these like promo fakey shiny mon.
I've got a couple,
The
but
ones
some of
that
their
make me
stats are good. I keep them.
Oh, they're hard to throw them away. They're kind of
Yeah.
fun.
the ones that make me laugh are where it's like you send out like your level 2 Rattata or whatever the version of Rattata is for the most recent game, and like you put it in a mystery trade and you keep trading that one over and over until you get like Celebi. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Cool.
All right, I'll
yeah. You
take
make
it.
it a fun game.
I mean, my favorite Pokemon. I don't know. I really like Sword and Shield. Like I really like Sword and Shield. That game was so much fun.
Uh,
That
They're
game
it's a
pretty
has.
shame. It's a shame our Switch died.
I know, but my favorite Pokemon rival in all of Pokemon is in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I fucking love Hop so much. I love the fact that he's a terrible Pokemon trainer. I love the fact that he picks against type advantage, which no rival ever does. I love the fact that he's so easy to beat and constantly loses and never gives up. It's so adorable. I love how he gets to the end of his journey and he realizes he's not a very good Pokemon trainer and it's not meant for him. I love that game
Yeah,
so much.
I love how his brother's the champion, and I believe his brother at one point is kind of like, yeah, maybe this isn't for
Yeah,
you.
maybe
Like,
give this up. Maybe give this up. You're not. It's not for you, man.
there are other things in this world you could be great at. I don't think this is one of them,
I
and
love
that's okay.
I love how it
It's an
harkens.
important. It's joking aside. For a kids game, I think it's a good lesson to put out there into the world to teach kids that not everybody's going to be good at everything, and that's okay. That's fine. You
I
can go find something you are good at.
right. It
But he's
harkens.
still
Oh,
having a
sorry.
good time.
He's still having a
He's like,
great
I'm
Yeah,
not the
time.
best,
it's
but I'm having
yeah,
less, and I'm
He
like,
like
never
it's
I like
still
quits.
that. I like
fun.
that spirit.
Yeah, I
I
think it's a
am.
very good lesson to teach
I
kids.
can't remember what he ends up wanting to do, but for me, it harkened back to the original anime with like Brock and Misty, who like, yeah, Brock doesn't want to be the best Pokemon Trainer. He wants to be the
Trainer.
best Pokemon
He wants to be a
breeder.
breeder.
Yeah, I don't remember what Misty wants to do, but she doesn't want to be
She
the
wants
greatest Pokemon trainer
Misty.
either.
Misty wants her bike.
Beyond her
That is her
bike.
entire. That is most of her motivation for those
That's
early episodes.
90% of
She's
her
At
just
least in
motivation.
the early
really,
episodes. Then she
she just
sticks
really,
around.
really wants a new bike.
So with
But
that, I want to talk about my favorite Pokemon. Well, the Pokemon thing I chose because I chose one Pokemon thing, and it's my favorite Pokemon movie. I chose my favorite Pokemon movie, my absolute favorite Pokemon movie, which is Pokemon Forever. I love Pokemon Forever
Oh,
so
yeah,
much.
I like that one.
I like
I
that
have a
one.
soft spot for the first one, but I think having not obviously watched all of them, but of those like first few of them, have you seen Pokemon Forever? Because I'm going to spoil the ending of it. There's an ending to spoil.
Yes.
You have seen it. Okay. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it because it's a genuinely good twist, and I don't want to give it away. But I love the okay. This is your chance. 3, 2, 1. You have your warning. I love the fact that Sam is Professor Oak. It's a great twist. Like it is a great twist, and I'm pretty sure that's not in the Japanese version. That's exclusive to the dub. I think they just added it.
Really?
I think in the Japanese version it's more ambiguous. I don't think it's made completely clear that he's Sam. But I love that.
I love
that.
it. It's so cute.
It's a great. It doesn't give it away early on, but if you know it, you can spot all the foreshadowing. Like when he's talking to the Professor Oak about Suicune, and he's like, maybe I should have told him. He's like, nah, whatever, it's fine, it'll be fine, I'm sure. And I love the old lady at the beginning, like the lady at the beginning, the girl when she's talking to Sam, and you see her later in the movie, and you don't realize at first that it's her. I just love all the little hints that I love how there's the bit where he shows Ash his sketches, and Ash is like, oh, this is just like the Pokedex. And that's kind of the inspiration for why he creates the Pokedex. Yeah, I love that movie. It's
Plus,
so good.
the dark Pokeball in that one is intense, and it's like, man, how do these things work?
That's my one criticism of it. I wish the bad guy wasn't Team Rocket. I wish he wasn't part of Team Rocket. I wish he was an independent, like maybe a Pokemon hunter, or like I wish he wasn't connected to Team Rocket because actual Team Rocket undercuts his how sinister he is for me.
That's fair. Yeah, if they had made it where it was like he was a former Team Rocket guy, or maybe he was Giovanni's like long lost friend or something, and he tried to overthrow Giovanni, and that's why he got booted. Or
I don't want him to have any connection to Team Rocket. What I would have wanted is I want him to get pulled through time, just like Sam does. He's from the past as well, and yeah, he's like some sort of like I don't know. I think Craven the Hunter, but for Pokemon.
Or he's from the future, and that's why he has this weird futuristic Pokeball, which can turn Pokemon evil. Is because he's from the future.
That would be fun.
Maybe it actually was, because that could be possible.
Where he got the dark one. It could be possible. I mean, he's chasing after Celebi. It could
be.
There's time travel in that whole film, so like
you could have made it. You could easily explain it, but you could make it where it's like, yeah, he's been chasing Celebi, and Celebi accidentally drags him from the future.
Yeah,
I
have one final thought on Pokemon Forever, unless either of you have anything you'd like to say about it.
It's fun. That's my final thought.
It's a fun, cute movie, but you mentioned rewatching Pokemon as an adult, and I've kind of discovered rewatching any animated or even a child thing as an adult, it provides you with a different perspective, or maybe you understand something that you didn't before. So like at the end, when all of the Celebes come and save Celebi, it didn't occur to me that was the same Celebi.
Really?
Yeah. This was the first time I realized that he exists in all time and space all at once.
He's everywhere all at once, and so that's all his various versions of himself saving himself.
Yeah. So when you're like he could be from the future, totally he could be from the future. You're right. That totally could work. I just don't like that he's Team Rocket, because I don't like it when Team Rocket is sinister, because I get the joke is that. I get that the joke is that Jesse and James are supposed to be particularly incompetent, but like I don't know, Jesse and James undercuts them in a way.
That's what I'm hearing right now.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's all I had to say about Pokemon Forever anyway. We'll let myself catch up. I'm just gonna keep talking until they say they can hear me again.
Well, the thing with Team Rocket though is the the
Yeah, go on.
the idea with Team Rocket is supposed to be that the rest of them are all extremely competent. It's just Jesse and James
I
who are incompetent.
I
So
know.
like if they had done a like if they had done a thing where they brought this guy from the future, what could have been interesting is if he was Giovanni's son.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I
Well,
just there's no
from the
version.
future, that'd actually be sweet.
There's no version of him being with Team Rocket that for me. I don't know. There's just I get the idea, but it's never worked for me. Especially after like they did Butch and Cassidy, and like they're equally as incompetent, and it's like Team Rocket in the games is never presented as competent. Like they're never presented as competent. So I don't really care for them when they are.
I mean, I don't know. I think there are ways to do it successfully, especially if you bring him from the future and it's like, yeah, over the years they've refined and have become sinister, and that's the point.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it can work, but for Pokemon, that's kind of not the point of Pokemon. Pokemon is silly and fun, so I,
Well,
I do get what you're saying.
my thing is with the bad guy in this movie is he is scary, and I remember when I was a kid and I watched this movie, he was scary. Like, he was like when he gets him with the dark Pokeballs, they were scary. They were scary things, and I'm like, when Team Rocket is like bumbling around him, I like it when Team Rocket is forced to team up with Ash and Misty, and I think they would be forced to faster if they didn't start off teaming up with him. And I'm like, yeah, just I don't know. It just doesn't. That's the one. But I otherwise love the movie. I otherwise love it. Is my
That's
favorite Pokemon movie.
that's fair.
It's either that.
I mean, any of these movies, if we really sat down and looked at them, we could definitely make them stronger than they currently are.
Yeah.
But of all the Pokemon movies, it's always gonna hold a special place in
It's
my heart.
it's either Pokemon Forever or the third one. I love the third one. The third one is
Oh,
so good.
I love the third one too. I like Pokemon 2000 as well, but
I
I
mean,
think 2000 and Pokemon the 3 are my favorite.
those are both
It's like
both.
the Crystal Palace, and oh fuck, it's so pretty, and the unknown are really cool.
That's the one that made me go. Someone has said that, and I don't know if it might be the same case with Dragon Ball, but the Pokemon movies, I think it's official maybe that they take place at a different timeline than the show, because in the show, they eventually saw a Lugia, and Ash and them pretended that it was the first time they had ever seen one, and it's supposed to
Uh,
take place after that movie, and they don't have their
well,
memories wiped at the end of Pokemon 2000.
I think some of the movies take much like, and this ties into my last rapid fire, which I'm going to combine the two of them. But I think so, with a lot of these anime movies that are based off shows, some of them can be, like, have to be in the timeline. For example, Pokemon the first movie has to be in the timeline because part of the movie where you see Mewtwo fight against Gary was in one of the episodes
Fair. Fair. And you do see, I think you see Mewtwo exploding out of the
of the lab as
I
well.
believe I believe the first movie technically was supposed to, okay, you guys remember the episode with the Porygons that got banned?
I
Yes,
never got to see that episode, but I
I've
believe
never
you.
seen
I've
it, but
never actually
yeah,
seen it,
same.
but I'm familiar with it. Because that happened, they went on a really long hiatus, and the movie was actually supposed to take place between a particular set of episodes, which is why there's references to the movie in the show. Um, but because they had to go on the hiatus, they weren't able to do it, so they cut the stuff out of the show and they adjusted the movie to reflect that. At least that's what I've heard.
Um, but that's an example of one where that the first movie's canon, like that
Yeah,
that you can easily explain it away. Their memories are wiped. That's why they don't acknowledge stuff. It's canon.
yeah.
Same with Mewtwo. Mewtwo returns, and I think after that you see Mewtwo again or something
Yeah,
like that.
you
So like
do, but
Mewtwo exists in this world.
that's another continuity issue because at the end of that movie, but to be fair, that's not a movie. That's technically a TV special. But at the end of Mewtwo Returns, Ash still remembers Mewtwo. That's kind of the point of the end of that movie. Like he says, "Oh, you shouldn't get rid of my memories or whatever." And then Mewtwo comes back in another movie, and Ash acts like it's the first time he's seen a Mewtwo, but that's a different Mewtwo because apparently there's more than one Mewtwo. There's a second Mewtwo, and it's a female.
Wow.
All right, I'm just gonna compartmentalize that and not deal with that because that's a whole thing.
Jordan, what is your final rapid fire?
Long and short is that I think some of them are canon and some of them are not.
Fair.
My final rapid fire, I'm gonna actually just combine two of them into one to save time. I watched two different Naruto movies. One which is Naruto as a kid, and one which is Naruto Shippuden, which is the older version of him. And those are examples of anime movies where it's like these are just like adventures they had, and they could take place. They do take place at particular points in the show, but it's like they just happen. Like you don't really need to articulate or explain the grand details of when it is. You just know that it's somewhere in the range of X point in the show, and it's like I like that. That's fun. They're fun ones. The first one is Naruto the movie, Ninja Clash in the Land of Snow, which is basically they're just bodyguards for a movie star.
Hey,
also, this world is funny. Also, this world is funny because it's like they're ninjas and they do ninja things, but they also have like electricity and movies and like they shoot movies and like video camera movies and stuff like that. And there's episodes of the show where like they fully break the fourth wall and talk to the audience like they are filming a show. I love those episodes because they're so weird and funny and random. But the other one that I watched is called Road to Ninja Naruto the movie, which is the Shippuden one, which is where they're older. And that one is basically two of the characters, Naruto and Sakura, end up in an alternate world where all the people they know are slightly different. And
interesting
stuff happens.
That reminds me of
that's fascinating.
That reminds me of the Full Metal Alchemist movie where they come to our world.
Yeah, kind of, except it's not like a real world situation. But like, for example, Hinata, who in the normal show is like shy and like reserved, in this one, she's like the Sundara type character where she's like aggressive and she's more like a kind of one. Or
sorry, stop. Time out. A what type character?
I think it's Sundare. Aggressive, aggressive, domineering female.
Tusundre? I think I've seen this word
before.
Okay. Is that what that is? I've always wondered what that word was.
It essentially means like an aggressive, like a Bulma.
Gotcha.
Oh, got it.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad you also didn't know what that word was. Okay, good. I feel less dumb.
No, I had no idea, but I've heard it before, but I heard it and not known what it means. I'm just pretty
it's one that I've heard enough times that I was curious and I kind of looked it up. Yeah, as I understand it, it's basically like a dominating, strong-willed woman.
Okay.
Cool.
So in normal Naruto, in normal Naruto, you got Choji, and he's the heavyweight kind of like his whole jutsu is he does the expansion jutsu and he grows really big and stuff. So his archetype is he likes to eat food, right? And in this, they make fun of it and they're like, he's like, oh, like, well, how would I eat that much food? And his personality is like completely different. So you get a lot of fun references to the actual show where you get to see the characters and they're not acting like themselves. And it's a good time for those who watch the show.
So my perspective as a person who does not watch Naruto, and my favorite shonen anime is obviously Dragon Ball Z because I'm a basic bitch. But I like this movie that you're describing, the second one. I really like that because Dragon Ball movies would never do that. Dragon Ball movies are all like they fight a slightly different color palette swapped guy who's basically the guy from the show but different. Like that's all the Dragon Ball movies are, and like that's all I need out of Dragon Ball movies. But
I'm gonna spoil this movie because I don't think either of you are gonna watch it. The big bad that they end up fighting in it, who Naruto ends up. It's evil Naruto.
Hell yeah, it's evil Naruto.
That makes sense, actually.
That makes me so happy.
So
If it's
basically,
universo for everybody, it makes sense.
I love a good mirror universe episode.
They're opposite.
Basically, the main antagonist for Shippuden uses I'm gonna go into the
Ninja
weeds here, and
magic?
it's complicated. Basically, he uses ninja magic. It's the practice version of the ninja magic that he later ends up wanting to use in the later seasons of the show.
Gotcha.
And so the idea is in this, he's practicing it on them, and that's where they end up in this fake mirror world, basically,
That is
where
awesome.
and that's why things are slightly different, is because it's not refined yet. It's essentially described like they dropped a pebble in water, and the ripple effects of them being dropped into this is what changes everything.
Awesome. Like,
so in the original show, Naruto's parents dies. Both of his parents dies defending the village, and that's why Naruto becomes Naruto. In this mirror version, his parents are alive, and so Naruto gets to actually interact with his parents. And because his parents are alive, that world's Naruto ends up going bad. Also, you get to see fun things like in this world. At a certain point, the Leaf Village hires the antagonists from the show to help Naruto and Sakura fight against
the bad guys.
He teams up with the bad guys
Seriously.
in this, and it's like,
Dragon Ball Z.
It's so fun.
Do their own version of this movie and have it where, like, yeah, Goku has to fight an actual proper evil Goku, and like has to team up with Frieza and Cell to stop an actual evil Goku. Oh, I would so watch that movie. Oh, I want it so bad.
And it's not so like this one. It's probably of the Naruto movies I've seen, because I've watched a few. It's probably my favorite one. Because like, yeah, you get evil Naruto. And so the evil Naruto has black hair. The good Naruto has blonde hair. There's a point where literally, because Naruto has the wolf spirit trapped inside him. That's why he gets all his special abilities and stuff throughout the show. Fox spirit. What did I say? Wolf?
You said
Fox
wolf spirit.
Sorry.
Ninetales.
That's because I'm thinking of.
I thought you meant wolf spirit for like the alter Naruto. That's all.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
no.
I
was like, that'd be sweet.
They were both.
Critter.
They were both Fox. I messed up. But you get to see a scene where Naruto actually, him and Karuma is the name of the Fox spirit. They agreed to like enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation, because this is not at the point in the series where Naruto and him have become friends, so they're still frenemies. So he lets him out, and you get to see the badass fight scene where evil Naruto and Fox are fighting against good Naruto and Fox, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a good time.
That does sound fun.
Cool. I'd love to watch that one.
Yeah, I will.
I like Naruto. I have to admit shame here. I haven't watched all of Shippuden. I still need to do that. There's so much of it. There's like 25 seasons.
That's why I haven't seen all of it. It's like One Piece, where I'm like, where do I start? It goes on forever, and it's never ending. Apparently, where's the time? But I want to know.
It's like 25 seasons, and that's just Shippuden. It's more than 25 if you watch the original Naruto, where he's younger, and then now after Shippuden, they've also got Boruto, which takes place after, and it's about their kids and them as adults. I haven't even touched that yet. I have so much to do.
I did a similar
Justin,
thing.
we're gonna have to come back to Japan for a third time, and I'll have to have watched it all by then.
I will say I did a similar thing with One Piece, where I watched the first like 10 episodes of it, and I went, this is all right, but I can't. I don't have the time. I do this. Who has the time to watch like, was it over 700 episodes of a show?
700.
Yeah.
I don't have the time.
Oh, you want to binge 700 episodes?
I made it like 25, I think 25 or 30 episodes into One Piece, and I'm like, there's so many other ones that I have to watch as well, and it's just, yeah,
I understand.
It's too hard.
Like, it gets really good later on. Like, there's some sick transformations, but like, I just can't. I don't.
Aw,
I think I'll stick with Dragon Ball and Naruto.
Yeah, Dragon Ball's enough.
yeah.
Dragon Ball, and I folded in. We're
Dragon
gonna
Ball's
talk about
enough.
my new thing I folded in later, but I folded in a new franchise into my loves. But so sorry,
Those are my rapid fires,
Soraya,
though.
we talked about Princess Mononoke. You said you watched Wolf something.
Wolf Children.
Wolf Children.
It's
Jordan
my
Yeah,
watched.
favorite anime film. Like all
Perfect.
I
time.
watched I
Perfect.
watched that as well.
We're gonna hold off
Did
on
you
Wolf
watch
Children.
it?
He did.
Yeah.
He
Oh
did.
my
We're gonna
gosh.
get to it. We're gonna get to it. I just wanted to double check. And then what was that? It? That was the only other one?
As far as if I watched,
Yeah.
those
Beastars.
that I
You
watched
mentioned
were
Oh, and
Beastars,
Beastars.
yeah.
Yeah, and you had seen Beastars. You had seen Beastars before, right? This was
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Beastars because
Okay.
I have questions for you about that franchise.
Okay.
So when I follow on Twitter, described it as being very smutty. Is it truly very smutty?
Like kind they explore like all the elements of aliveness itself very tangibly, including like at one point like a rabbit straight up propositioning a wolf for sex, and they're confused because they're like, wait, hold up, I thought I was actually helping you with gardening though. And then then you learn in this cool moment that the rabbit's like kind of like that because she's like, well, I'm this herbivore animal that's very small and my lifespan's very short compared to like all these predators in the world. So for them, they live kind of more in the moment and fast and just like, I just want to be alive because every day could be my last because of the animal I'm literally just born as in their world, which is like trippy and so much as a theme itself because they're right. And then that's when like, Legoshi, this wolf carnivore, is learning from this rabbit he falls in love with, but it's also fighting those predator instincts within him. But he's also like, well, I also don't want to cause harm. It's a whole thing, and then it gets fetish territory. It's very fascinating.
This sounds so fascinating. I'm sorry, Drew. I have 1,000 questions. Starting with, okay, can you give me like a rough like what is this series even about? Like, can you give me like a rough plot description of it?
Yes, so it's like a murder mystery at first.
Really?
But have you seen Zootopia? Are you aware of
Yes.
Zootopia and
Yeah,
that
oh, yeah.
anthropomorphic kind of animal world? Cool. And in that, they explore themes of trying to exist, what it's like, different animals in that space, right? So
Yeah.
Beastar is very similar, except darker, but also more like, I think, less like it's less of a kids thing. It's more of like
Sure sounds that
it's
way.
very
Yeah.
much more adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more
Yeah.
adult. But it's also a love story mixed with a murder mystery, mixed with a lot of like self-discovery and like inner nature and nurture and like choices, like so much tangibility with that. It's, oh man. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like how do I encapsulate it, because yeah, part of it is somebody gets like murdered in their high school, predated, and they're all trying to figure out like who the fuck killed Tem, this alpaca. He gets got, and they're like, what happened? And then Legoshi has a moment where he's like, he sees this rabbit and he has this primal kind of instinct, like wolf mode, to just try to like go after them. But then he
Yeah.
like, as he has them kind of caught, he kind of stops and he's like fighting himself because he's like, holy, like I don't want to be like doing this, and I don't like that this is a part of me. So he just goes on this whole, because he's very in his nature very like peaceful, zen, kind of quiet, shy, reserved, but is this gray wolf. So a lot of people perceive him as like this, this big beast kind of thing. There's bears in this world, there's tigers, like all kinds of different predatory animals, and they just look at this big gray wolf being like a softie and shy and quiet, and they're like, what the fuck? And a lot of people try to like antagonize him. It's strange, but yeah.
So
But he
okay.
likes a little rabbit.
So you compared it to Zootopia, and in
Yeah.
description, it reminds me a lot of BoJack Horseman. And Jordan's gonna maybe start to get where I'm getting at with this. It reminds me of BoJack Horseman. My main, are they actually animal people in Beastars, or is it like the fact that they
Yes.
look like, okay, they are actually animal people?
They
So-
they are, and it's so smart to the point where like one of my favorite jokes in the whole thing is there's a scene where they're in this this dark market kind of thing where people are
Yeah.
selling meat on the side and shady
Okay,
shit like that. It's
interesting.
real scary vibes. They divert from this field trip, and at one point they're lost. So their group of animals at the time includes a bald eagle, and the other animals look to the bald eagle for guidance for where to go, because they're just assuming because they're a bird, they know where to go and they know directions. And then the bald eagle guy goes back to them. He's like, I'm not a migratory bird. Like, that's not the kind of bird I am. Why would I know? And it's just, I don't know, that specific animal fact level type of humor is pretty great. Like, they are fully animal anthro-beings. There are no humans.
So it's basically like, I'm not a migratory bird. Sort of racist of you to think we're all the same, Dave.
Yeah. It
That's
was
so
it was
interesting.
great. I was like, this is sweet.
So okay, because
Clever.
have you seen BoJack Horseman?
Yes, I've
Yes.
seen all of
Okay.
it.
So you know the episode
And Sweet Green Birdie.
with the chicken people, where it's like nobody knows chickens like
Oh,
chickens.
nobody knows chickens like chickens.
There's some chicken lore. There's a whole part of an episode in B-Stars about a chicken, and there's a chicken in their high school, and the chicken, you learn about being a chicken in that world, and they're like so proud and prideful of producing their eggs, and that's actually the protein of choice that's high school appropriate instead of meat for the carnivores is eggs. And there's like a thing where, oh my god, so much. It's incredible though. I've never seen this kind of thing in anything before.
That's so fascinating to me, because I like the fact that by the sounds of it, they address that kind of inherent awkwardness with having anthropomorphized animals. Because in BoJack Horseman, an issue I always had with that is that's a world where anthropomorphic animals and humans coexist, but they never explain it, but they constantly draw attention to it with that chicken episode. Or one of Jordan's favorite jokes is where, like, I think it's Diane is at the cafe eating the cheeseburger, and she looks up at the cow waitress and is like, sorry. Like, that means that there's an inherent...
And that's a running gag too, where people keep going to the diner and like ordering beef, and like the waitress keeps throwing shade and being like, here's your sandwich, stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's like,
and so in that universe,
wow.
they never address the inherent, because like for me, if like a cow talked to me and was like, I'd have so much problems eating them, more problems eating them than I kind of already do. So like, I'm just like, in a universe where like the animals are anthropomorphic, how do you still eat them? Like and BoJack Horseman, I understand that's not the point of that show, but they never address that. And so I guess that leads to my next question, which is there an inherent awkwardness between, like, say, in that universe, between, say, like a cow and like a wolf? Like, they know that like they know that they're gonna eat, one's gonna eat the other. Like, clearly they have to eat, so like there's obviously some mechanism for eating.
In their high school realm, and there's like, okay, no meat allowed. So like there's bears in the world, for example, that take pill suppressors for their strength, because they are just an animal born in that world that when they're adolescent, being mixed in a school that also has like mice people, like tiny other beings, and they have their own little tiny corridors. Like it's wild, like how much they the world is really built like that. And then there's like a tiger, you find out he's like doping blood, like he got in the black market and he gets in it, like he'll find something. There's a deer in there who like one of the main characters, Louis, he's like, his story is really interesting because like he was adopted as like an orphan from this, he was from the black market, like he has a tattoo on his feet that's like a 4, like, you know, he was just supposed to be meat stock, because there is a whole underworld outside their school in the real world that they find out on that field trip. And then Legoshi continues to explore like farther in the series of outside of the high school of that, like what is happening, like what are, because you know there are beings in the world out there eating meat and like in secret and stuff like that. And it's interesting. So it's like, yeah, how do you, in school they're like, okay, yeah, the carnivores get their eggs and as their protein, and you're not allowed to, you know, predate and stuff like that. But in the adult outside of their high school space, it's a bit different. And that's, yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on.
That's so cool. You know what, I was gonna ask you if you recommend it, but honestly, this sounds really cool. I'm gonna probably have to check this out.
I most recommend it because I watched it. I was at first for lulz because I thought like, oh, this looks so strange. Yeah. I want to know what it is. And I thought it would be that. And then I was like so fast, like, oh, in it though, like hooked. Like, and then to the point where I went and read, like, I'm not like a big fan of like, reading sometimes can be stressful for me, but I was like, oh, seeking out the manga. I've read the entire thing a few times. Like, it is incredible and so clever. Like, you're talking about the being a chicken. Like, there's a whole part where you find out that this hen, she's like super prideful of her eggs. Like, being a chicken in that world, she's like, yeah, man, I lay eggs, and like they're going and feeding my classmates, and you find out that she's like she's really like, I want people to enjoy my eggs. And then she starts getting self-conscious because there's this person she's watching, a fellow student, who always orders the same egg sandwich or whatever on certain day, and then they order it in a day and they just stopped liking it as much, and then they stopped ordering it, and then she sees this change and she's like, what the heck, like, is something wrong with my eggs, what's happening? And then she goes to try to find out, and then she finds out that her eggs are actually so good they switched them to Friday because it was more popular. I think it's like a Friday instead of a Wednesday. Like, they switched into another special day. So the change she saw, and at first was like worried, oh my gosh, like, is it my eggs, like, why don't they want mine anymore? Instead, she's like, oh, never mind, they actually love my eggs the most, so they switched it to a more popular day kind of thing. And then she's like, yeah, like, I'm just living my best chicken life in this world. It's like they just show this whole specific little side story of what that experience would be like for that character, and I'm like,
so cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool.
Definitely go check it out. Jordan, is there anything else you like to know about Beastars?
I know. I mean, it sounds very interesting. I'm gonna have to look it out. I don't want to get too much spoiled because
that's
you know.
sorry, I spoiled some things, but
no, it's all good.
Oh no! You have teased us enough to get us interested.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, by the way. It's on Netflix.
There's a new season that's coming out apparently in December. They're finalizing the anime, but the whole manga exists online.
Interesting. So
there's 2 seasons on it.
2 seasons. Good to know. How long is each season? Like 12 episodes?
Oh gosh, I literally just watched it and I'm already like, how many episodes was each season?
Totally fair. I'm the same way.
In this moment, I'm blanking.
That's all good. It's all good. I'll look it up later. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Don't even worry about it. For my final rapid fire, we're gonna begin my rapid fire. My have scenes. They'll kind of have a theme. I'll get to the main theme later, but sub theme is: do you remember this? Do you guys remember an anime called Metabots?
Oh, of course I do. I almost picked that as a rapid fire.
You've heard of Metabots? Okay, so
Metabots. What power?
I will describe it as best as I can. So there was a period in the 2000s and the 90s where like Japan was really trying to make a new Pokemon happen, and by extension America was really trying to make a new Pokemon happen. And so Metabots is essentially Pokemon, but it's robots instead. And there's toys.
I want to jump in and actually challenge that. It's not Pokemon, it's Digimon.
It's the same shit. No, this is more closer to Pokemon.
No, it's not. Pokemon, they just say their own name and they're not they're animals. Digimon, they have personalities and can challenge you, which is exactly what they do in this.
I'm not talking in the show.
I'm
talking
challenging you.
Purely its existence as a franchise. Its existence as a franchise is meant to be Pokemon because the toys were, as it's presented in the show, you have 3 components to it. You have the shell, and then you have the pieces that go on top of the shell that combine what the Metabots look like, and then you have the metal that go inside it. Well, when it came time to sell toys, they would sell you the shell, and you would buy all the different parts and swap out the parts. So it very much was about collecting them all. And you send out your Metabot, and then you swap out the part. So the concept and how it works mechanically, it's also based on a series of games as well. They're turn-based games as well. It's Pokemon. But in terms of how it works in the show, no, you're right. It's closer to Digimon. All the Metabots have personalities. The big thing is the main character Icky. He finds a rare metal that he puts inside Metabee, who is kind of like a Kabuto. Hercules beetle kind of style bug. That's his shape, and he has a real attitude. He doesn't listen. He like argues.
In terms of Pokemon, he's like a Heracross.
Yeah, Heracross. He looks exactly like a Heracross.
Like an angsty Heracross. Yeah, I kind of like that.
And and it's one of those shows where like you could tell the people who wrote it and dubbed it had a lot of fun because there's a lot of really genuinely funny. It's genuinely funny. It's a genuinely funny show.
The
There's some
one
genuinely funny jokes.
one of the ways that I will agree with you that it's like Pokemon is they have Team Rocket, the Rubber Robo gang.
And they work for the Screws as well.
Yeah, and they work for the big boss who's the guy
Yeah.
in charge, and
Yeah.
yeah.
But there's a really funny joke in like this. I only watched like 5 or 6 episodes, but there's a really funny joke in one of the early episodes where they're obviously all students at a school, and the Metabots are effectively like, you watch Yu-Gi-Oh? This is the best comparison I could think of.
Yes.
You watch Yu-Gi-Oh? You know how
Yeah.
like that entire
Yeah.
world is based upon a children's card game, like their economy, everything
Yeah.
about it's the same thing in
That's
the
a card game I actually played. Love
Fair
this Yu-Gi-Oh.
Fair enough. But that
Fun.
universe operates largely the same way. Their entire world operates around Metabots. Everyone has a Metabot that sort of matches their personality type.
Yeah,
If they
and
were
the
in your
fact that
universe, why? Well, of course it would.
Right?
Everything would revolve around it. It'd be so cool.
Right?
That's what was in your universe.
yeah, which is why in the first episode when Icky finally gets a Metabot, it's kind of like
Like a
he
big
hasn't
deal.
had one, and it's made him the social outcast.
But there's a funny
Aw.
episode where there's the
But he gets
gym teacher,
disguised.
the gym teacher at their school hates Metabots, and anytime he catches you with a Metabot, he makes you run laps, and he says you're gonna water the field with your sweat. And there's a point in the episode where they're all in the school, and they're all in this convenience store, and they're all like half asleep, and they're all like, "We're gonna go to sleep now. Coach can't find us in our dreams."
Damn.
And then there's a point later on at the end of the episode where he's making him run again, because the whole thing is he seems like he's a jerk, but he's really kind of a sweetheart.
Heart of gold.
Yeah, he has a heart of gold, and he wants to build a playground for some kids. And it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, where a bad guy shows up for an episode, they do a Metabot fight, and then the good guys win, bad guys lose, whatever. Everyone learns a lesson. So yeah, you find out that this coach really is a good, decent guy, and he wants to build this playground for these kids. They fight these bad gangster guys, they beat him or whatever. And the episode ends with the coach making him do laps again, and he's like, "I need your sweat to water my new playground." And he's like, and Metabee's in the tree, just like relaxing and chilling. And he's like, "I'd help you, but Metabots don't sweat."
Amazing.
So it's just so many great jokes like that.
It's so 90s.
Well, that one's actually early but yeah, it's so 90s. Yeah, it's early to late 2000s, but it's
See,
close enough.
my biggest memory of Metabots, of what makes me remember Metabots, is I remember there being this Flash game on the computer back then where like you would collect the various parts of it and you battle them, and it never worked on our computer.
No,
And
not
I remember
properly.
us fighting with it, and it just
Never worked properly. No.
yeah,
My
never
other,
worked properly.
My other favorite character in Metabots is a character called Mr. Referee, and
Mr. Referee.
he is the referee of all the Metabot fights, and it doesn't matter where you are or what's going on or what's happening. Mr. Referee will just show up. He'll just show up.
My man,
He's like, "Oh wait, this is an official real battle."
My man is committed to his job, and I am here for it.
He knows everybody. It doesn't matter if you've never met, like Icky in the first episode. He's never done a meta fight before, but Mr. Referee knows him, and nobody ever quite. Wait, how do you know my name, Mr. Referee? Like, where did he come from? I don't understand. He just shows up.
Why were you just sitting in that trash can waiting for us to fight?
Right. It's so funny. He just appears out of nowhere every single time. It's really good. But no, it's a genuinely, if you're into like Pokemon or like Digimon or that style of like anime, it's very fun. It's very fun.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's cute and it's fun.
No.
With that, let's move into some main reports. Jordan, what is your first half scene?
My first half scene is called The Boy and the Beast. And it's the same studio as Wolf Children.
Yeah, and Summer Wars as well.
I've seen it too.
No, not Summer Wars.
Really, according to Wikipedia, it said it was.
That's not what I saw.
Yeah, when I was looking up, because I looked up Summer Wars because I was like, I try to look for stuff by the same people, and both Wolf Children and Boy and the Beast was there.
Maybe it has a similar director.
Yeah, it's the same
Boy and the
director.
Beast is really, really cool.
Oh, I'm talking the studio that made it.
Oh no, it's the same director. And yes, that movie's very
It's a
good.
different studio.
Oh, got it.
Um, but no, yeah, it's a very good movie. Human boy gets led to Beast World. Gets trained by the Beast, whose name I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
He's a
Anyways,
dick.
not important. Huh?
He's a dick at first.
Yeah, he's a dick at first. He's a bad master, and they grow and they learn together, and then there's the whole thing with the darkness and the human's heart, and there's that whole thing, and it's beautifully animated. I love when you see the whale, the evil whale thing. It looks really pretty.
And that's one where
And
he's really good
the
at doing
sword, grab the sword in your heart and swing. I don't know what
Love
you
it.
mean. What are you talking about?
um
Um,
he's really good
it's also
at
distracting to me because the actor who plays the Beast is the same as the grandfather in Summer Wars. I think it's grandfather, one of the characters in Summer Wars,
hmm.
and so every time I hear his voice, the one who in Summer Wars, Justin, for your benefit, the one who is who at one point talks about the great war between the families, and he has the boat, the fishing boat.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I know who you're talking about.
He's the same actor. Um, but no, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I recommend it. If
Good.
one hasn't seen it, one should see it.
George, just
I've
for the
seen
sake
the
of
Boy and the
brevity,
Beast
I'm gonna
twice. It's fun.
unless you have anything major you want to say about
Sorry,
Born the
what
Beast.
was
Oh,
what was
sorry, what's that?
we cut off? What was that?
Oh, I've seen it twice. The Boy
You've
and the
seen it
Beast.
twice.
I'm excited that you've seen it.
I've now seen it twice as well. This is my second time watching it,
I
and
I
I
really
really
like
like it.
the
Grab the sword in
gentleman.
your heart and swing could just be like a tattooed quote, honestly.
Um,
Oh yeah, and then
I
you have the little sword tattoo of the sword underneath.
I love the
I've considered
director
it.
of that movie. I love most of his work. I didn't care for the girl who leapt through time super much. I thought that was kind of
Really, I like that one.
I thought it was kind of slow. I think it's because I like Summer Wars, and Summer Wars is really dynamic. But I really
Mm.
like Born the Beast.
If
He's
you
really good at
if you don't
I love his art
if
style,
you
and
don't like a
I love how he
if you
animates
don't like a
combat.
slower movie, Justin, then I'm not sure that Wolf and the or Wolf Children would be for you, because
Fair
that one's a
enough.
bit slower.
Yeah, I'm
That
not a
one's
lover
like
of.
emotionally deep, man.
Well, it
Yeah, it's
depends on
cute.
the
We're gonna get there.
it
Don't worry, we'll
depends
get
on the
there.
story for me largely. But yeah, I really like his how his art style, and I like how he does like his fights when the way he animates
Oh
fights is
yeah.
so good. It
So
looks
the
stunning.
the sword fighting in this one is phenomenal, and it's I love how they don't take the swords out of the sheaths. I think that's a nice touch, except for when they do.
Is this an
Um
isekai? Boy gets transported to a
uh
magical realm.
yeah, he follows the beast, the boy, the and now I need to know what the character's name is. Hold on.
Because yeah, that's
Yeah,
I learned
remember.
recently what an
Ren
isekai is.
Ren follows Ren follows
The beast.
where is it? Lozen is the popular one.
Bearman.
Kumatetsu, that's his name.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Um, very, very Japanese and hard for me to remember.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Ren follows Komasetsu into the Beast World,
Oh yeah.
and then that's where they and until Ren eventually finds it, like once he's older, finds his way back to the human world, and he meets the girl, and they start teaching, like she starts teaching him, and they end up being friends, and it's cute and it's sweet. I really like it. It
Good.
brought smiles to my face.
Um. So
So,
for my
did you have any other questions, Justin?
I do not. I would like to move on to my. I'm gonna do all of my half scenes at once, but I promise you, it's not gonna take 1,000 years
It better not.
because
Sorry.
they
It better
all.
not.
There's three of them, and they all link together. And I only want to. So my main report is some of the stuff I had seen is something I'm calling the Four Kids Roundup. I have selected a selection of anime that Four Kids TV dubbed. And I'm going to talk specifically about the dubs. And I'm going to tie it back to Pokemon because obviously 4Kids did Pokemon. We're gonna start from
Hear
the
the
first one.
jets.
Yeah, there's an air show going on in our area. It's annoying. Have to deal with it. First one. Do you guys remember the show Fighting Foodons?
Of course, I
Yes.
remember the show
Holy
Fighting
shit!
Foodons.
When you're talking about like people trying to make Poke clone or just franchise clones, Fighting Foodons was the one that came to my brain earlier, and it just made me laugh because they were
That
trying to make like
is
food coming to
absolutely
life.
a Pokemon
think.
clone.
Funny enough
I
is I
loved
don't
it. I
remember
watched
ever
it.
actually, I don't remember ever actually watching the show, but I remember the theme song. Fighting Foodons, it's a food with attitude.
So-
Fighting food, da, 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 da.
First point about 4Kids. 4Kids has exactly 5 voice actors. They all do all of the 4Kids stuff, and they interswap them. So there'll be times where you're like, oh, that's I'm gonna say voice actor names. Forgive me.
Forget about it.
Forget
It's
about
just
it.
Joey.
It's just Joey. If you're familiar with Andrew Rannells, he was a huge 4Kids voice actor, so he plays a ton of different characters. There's times where we're like, oh, that's just Eggman with an Italian accent, or that's just Eggman with an Irish accent, or that's Mokuba. The thing I noticed is Sam in Pokemon Forever. It's just Mokuba. There's all the main character in Fighting Foodons is just Mokuba. Or like if you watch Sonic X, that's Amy Rose, or that so the voices are kind of lazy, and it's funny. You can
Interchangeable.
You can tell how much faith they have in a show by how much they put into the performance. And so Fighting Foodons, they did not care about, because like it's really just a vehicle to do terrible food puns. Just food pun after food pun after food pun.
Exclusively food puns per dialogue. Almost all food puns.
There's a ratio. It's pretty like there's the food. Yeah. I didn't get to Spaghetti About It.
Honestly, the only one that I remember is Spaghetti About It.
I didn't get to
because they
Spaghetti
always
About
had those. They always, and the only reason I know as much as I do about Fighting Foodons is because they always had those in between commercial advertisements where you would sometimes have the different shows interacting with each other.
Yep.
And I remember some of the Fighting Foodon ones, and that's the biggest one is Spaghetti About It.
I didn't get to Spaghetti About It. I only got as far as Fried Ricer. But
Fighting Foodons was just
they're super confusing like universe where it's like some of the Fighting Foodons can talk, others can't. Some of them just say their name.
You're not meant to think about it too deeply.
You're really not.
No.
And so then the next one I watched was Kirby Right Back at Ya. I watched
that
a few
one.
episodes of Kirby Right Back at Ya.
They were on in a row back then.
They were. Yeah, there was a block of television. Yeah, absolutely.
That was the block. I watched all of it because they're all in a row.
That made me go, why isn't Nintendo doing? And I know they've got a bunch. I didn't get a chance to. I kind of wanted to sneak a peek at some F-Zero. There's an F-Zero anime that I've heard is phenomenal. But Nintendo needs to get back into making some anime. Like they made some good anime.
I'm guessing TV just isn't profitable now. What with the streaming services?
It's not. It's such a fun show. My only thing is there's some questionable CGI in it, but other than that, it's just a really fun. And once again, voice actors all the same. It's all the same voice actors. And then
I remember, I remember really enjoying that one. I remember that being one of the best ones.
And then finally, that's why I also watched.
Which is ironic because I think when I watched that show, I don't think I had ever played a Kirby game at that point.
I definitely hadn't. I wasn't
other than him being in Smash. I don't think I really even knew who Kirby was.
Yeah,
but I really liked that show.
That was it. That was kind of that. It was that show and it was Smash Brothers. That's kind of it for Kirby for me.
Yeah.
And then finally,
the show gotta play here.
Oh, sorry, I should mention. I also watched a bunch of Sonic X. I love that show. I don't care. I like the 4Kids dub. I understand it's worse than the Japanese version.
I like that show in spite of its flaws, and it has a great deal of flaws.
It's also quite 4Kids, man. They had a sense of humor. Their shows are funny. Also, I forgot to mention this up top. They write kick-ass theme songs. Like, say what you will about the quality of their dubs.
Yeah.
Their theme songs are like are amazing. I watch them every single time.
They're pretty on par.
And then finally, and this is the main one. I watched Ultimate Muscle. I don't know if you guys
Ultimate
remember.
Muscle.
I don't know if,
Ultimate Muscle.
I don't know if you
Of course,
watched.
I remember Ultimate Muscle. I remember reading the original manga for Ultimate
Yeah,
Muscle.
the manga for Ultimate Muscle is very funny because it's just a direct translation of the original manga, which is R-rated, but it gives them all the characters from the 4Kids dub. All the names I mean from the 4Kids dub.
That's funny.
But it's that show's super fun.
That's an example.
Incredibly.
That's
funny.
another example. That's another example of banger theme song on that one.
Yep,
I love the
banger of
theme song for that one.
Sarai, did you watch Ultimate Muscle?
I've never even heard of it.
You've never heard of Ultimate Muscle? What a joy.
No.
Okay.
It is now my goal to send you clips of that later.
Yeah. Okay.
Please send me no context clips of Ultimate Muscle because I'm deeply
fascinated. I'm going to.
It is technically a sequel series, and it is a gag anime / manga about Ultimate Muscle is about professional wrestling. It's about superhero professional wrestling. And so it takes place in a world where they professional wrestle, but it is 100% real. And it's like they colorful characters. There's extended arcs. And the best comparison I could think is like it's sort of like Dragon Ball, but for professional wrestling. And Ultimate Muscle, and it's super fun.
There's literally one of the ones that he fights that I remember turns into a sneaker, and he's like kicking him around the ring and stuff like that.
The one
I'm pretty sure I've seen that before, though.
It's really good.
I don't know if I saw it in an episode or because there was
Could be another.
I don't remember the titles of that I would just have on in the background, half paying attention to, kind of just killing time before the stuff I wanted to watch came on in the next block, but I didn't want to lose track. But I've seen. Yeah. I feel like what you're describing before.
It also could be a thing of like I said before, where they would have the advertisements in between the episodes and stuff, which would show you bits and pieces. So you might have seen like teasers or advertisements for it.
Probably.
There's
that one in particular. They like to use footage from it and have because the voice actors you can tell they love this show because like they love the show, they love the humor of it. Like it really comes across in the final product that like it's like they're getting away with a lot. Like it's an R-rated show in Japan, but like they're getting away with a lot. There's a lot of violence in this where I'm like, wow, I cannot believe they got away with that.
On American television.
Well, on Saturday morning. This is a Saturday morning cartoon, right? So it's like what they're getting away with on Saturday morning.
Yeah. When you go back and you read the original manga, some of the stuff, it's baffling to me sometimes what is chosen to become a children's television thing.
Well, what's even
based
stranger,
on its original stuff.
What's even stranger with Ultimate Muscle is it's a sequel. It's a sequel to another show called it's called Kinnikuman. And Kinnikuman is a parody of Ultraman, or in English Ultraman. If you're not familiar with Ultraman, he is Godzilla but a guy. Literally.
Katamari Damacy taught me about Ultraman.
Oh, excellent! You're familiar with Ultraman, yeah. So he that's why he's got the fin. Yeah, he's a pair, and it started off with like he would like most like kaiju kind of based people like that superhero. He could grow to be gigantic, but in order to grow to be gigantic, he had to eat garlic. And like Ultraman, he has a move where he like shoots a laser beam. He goes like this. But then it sort of became about professional wrestling, and yeah, like there's a character in Ultimate Muscle who he's a chess piece. Like literally, like he's got a knight on his one shoulder, he's got a rook on his other shoulder, and like at one point he just cuts a promo. If you watch professional wrestling, it's really fun. It's really funny. I've been watching it on internetarchive.com because it's not on anything else, but it is totally worth it. And as a sneak preview, I'm trying to get through all 132 episodes of the original Kinnikuman. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about it again in another episode because it's also really fun. And it's just a genuinely fun show. It really reminds me of like Dragon Ball, where it begun its life as like this gag anime, and like it developed into this like sequel series about like the next generation and yeah, about the characters as they were older. And it was like a sequel series. The difference being though, and this is where it gets interesting, Ultimate Muscle was not successful in Japan. In fact, they canceled it way earlier, and 4Kids commissioned the rest of the series to be finished. So they finished the series and it eventually went back to Japan, and they redubbed it out of English into Japanese with the original voice cast.
They breathe new life into it.
Yeah, I just thought that was so interesting. But that's it. That's all my have scenes. That's it. That's the end of the 4Kids roundup. I'm glad you guys remembered those. That was fun. Let's move into George. You have another have seen? You do have one more have seen, right?
I have one more have seen.
Yeah, let's do your last have
which
scene.
which is Ni no Kuni.
Yeah. Okay. That also
which is based. Okay, so the first game and I think the second game, because this is based off of the video game series of the same name.
Yeah, I remember that.
It technically, story-wise, as I understand it, it technically takes place centuries after the second game.
Gotcha.
But the first one I know for sure, and I think the second one was, and I don't know about the movie, but the cutscenes in those games, the 2D animated ones, were produced by Studio Ghibli. So as far as I'm concerned, visually and artistically, it is a Studio Ghibli movie.
Are you talking about?
I just don't.
Sorry, are you talking about the games or the movie? Because I know there's a movie.
I'm saying the games were.
Gotcha.
They were produced by Studio Ghibli. The animated sections,
yeah,
like the 2D animated sections, those were produced by. The thing that I watched for this is the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I'm saying I don't know if that one is,
gotcha.
But because it's the same visual art style and it takes place in the same world as the games, and those were, I'm considering it Studio Ghibli for my intents and purposes.
Because they have made, well, I mean, because you could have a Studio Ghibli film that's not a Miyazaki film, because his son made like Tales of Earth and Sea, so like that's a Ghibli film, but it's not a Miyazaki film. So
interesting. Yeah. I just know that for the games that the 2D sections were done, like they were produced by Studio Ghibli. Anyways, this movie, so you remember how earlier you were like, do you think that all the Studio Ghibli films are in one world?
Mm-hmm.
This movie is my answer to your question. Because in this movie, and the games by extension, the idea basically is that there's two worlds and they're two sides of the same coin. And I think that's your answer. Studio Ghibli movies are two sides of the same coin. All of the weird stuff that can't be explained is on the one side of the coin, and all the normal human stuff is on the other, and they're connected. They sometimes have crossover. You sometimes have stuff from the one side which comes over to our side, or vice versa. But I think they are two sides of the same coin.
So you
gotta watch Pompoko. It totally like shows what you're saying too, of the two sides of the same coin.
I have an answer to that, but I can't say what it is because it involves spoiling Boy and the Heron, which I'm not going to do today. So we can come back and talk about it another time. But I have a response to that. That's all I'll say.
But I'm gonna dive into the movie a bit. I don't know if either of you wants to watch it, so I'll try to keep it light spoilers. But
Ni no Kuni?
Yeah, Ni no Kuni. It's on Netflix. Oh, you've seen it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's cute, and I've only played the first game and I didn't beat it. But there's apparently references to the two games in the movies, like in the movie. One of the characters that you see, and I don't believe they ever actually name him as such, but there's an older gentleman who you see in the movie who keeps talking about how he needs to open a portal to the other side. And I'm pretty sure he is supposed to be the main character from the first game. I'm I don't know for sure, but I think that's the intention.
Does Big Nose Ring Guy come back?
No.
Disappointed.
But
No
I think
longer interested.
he's supposed to be a fairy in the original game, but no, he's this is centuries after the second game, which
Boo.
is,
He's my
as
favorite
I
character.
understand it, as I understand it, is quite a few years after the first one.
Boo.
But
Disappointed.
one thing that I mean, it's your standard two heroes end up in a magic universe and are just really good with swords for some reason.
Isekai.
They're you have a much like the games, you have a lot of what they do in one world affects stuff in the other world. That's a big feature of the games. It's cute, it's fun, and I recommend it if you haven't seen it, Justin.
I will check it out. I'm disappointed that Big Nose Guy isn't there, but I'm willing to stifle that for this.
Do you have any questions for me, Justin?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'd like to move on to the stuff we hadn't seen.
Okay. All right. We shall.
I would like you two to tell me. Let's just start this off right. Tell me about Wolf Children. Is it as okay? No, I want to start off Wolf Children with this question. For Soraya, is it more or less smutty than Beastars? That's just the theme for the rest of the show now. What can I say? I like smut.
Fair. Well, there is some like bestiality question mark kind of going on, but it's much more complex than that. But I wouldn't say it's like smutty. It's more like deeply like emotional and like
Interesting.
kind of romantic. Like it's a film with a lot of heart and feels.
So
yeah, I would agree with that.
Now I'm going to turn to Jordan. Jordan, how smutty was it?
I wouldn't call it smutty. Smutty's not the right word.
Is it delicate and beautiful?
Yeah, that's kind of more how I would describe it. Loving is kind of the theme. Yeah. It's, first part is about the love between the werewolf, wolf, whatever you want to call him. I call him a wolf because to me he is technically, I guess, by the strictest definition, a werewolf. Man who turns into wolf.
Does he turn into a wolf by the moonlight?
I think they kind of.
If the answer is no, then he's not. Yeah, he's not a werewolf. He's a different.
He's not.
They're not. It's even more a werewolf.
Yeah, like they're wolves, not werewolves.
Well, it's like a type of being that. Werewolf would be a lore that maybe a human would interpret, seeing them and make up, and they actually talk about that in the film.
Yeah,
like look at all these stories and fantasy tales that talk about these things and kind of demonize them, and really it's just a being that is not quite like they're both wolf and human blended, and they can shift their form, and they can just kind of choose when that happens.
Which they want to be.
In terms of like mythological urban legend creatures, a being who can turn into like a regular wolf that isn't a werewolf, it isn't like bipedal. I wish I could remember what it was called, but it has a different
Animagus?
name. No, that's from Harry Potter. No, I want to say lycanthrope. There's a specific term for it, but
it's not a werewolf.
I hate to invoke this name, but I doubt either of you have ever seen Twilight. But if you're familiar at all with Twilight, Jacob.
I know that he turns into a wolf, like just a straight wolf.
He is not a werewolf.
That's more what.
But the second half of the fourth one.
Totally fair.
It's kind of it's kind of more akin to that, except they can choose what they want to be and when they want it. Like it's and in terms of like her and they fall in love and they end up having two kids, a boy and a girl, and when they're kids. It's their emotions that, like, when they lose their temper or they get frustrated, they tend to turn back into the wolf form. And so in the younger ages, it seems to be emotions which kind of trigger the transformation at times. And then over the course of the movie, the daughter wants to go to school and kind of lean more into the human side, and the son ends up like not being interested in that and goes off into the forest and learns how to live in the wild from an old fox mentor. And kind of by the end of it, the mother kind of has to let go of and accept that the son is kind of grown and is his own being and is good, and she did good and they're good and it's all good.
Okay, interesting. So
It's
wait,
cute, it's sweet,
so are
it's
they?
really cute.
Is both the mom? Is this a case of like one of them's human and like it's like a entering a new magical world kind of movies, or is it like off the top they're both wolf people? It's just about their
Uh,
looks.
mom's human, dad's wolf,
Gotcha.
and it's
Okay.
about them falling in love, and then the dad tragically doesn't make it, and it's kind of about the mom having to try and raise her two wolf children on her own.
Whoa, spoilers. Kidding.
And
Totally kidding. Totally kidding. I don't care about that.
oh,
Unless it happens really early in
and
the movie.
yeah, well that does happen fairly early in the
I
movie.
know. Okay.
Um,
I'm
but
just gonna. I'm just
it's about,
hazard.
yeah, raising the kids and the difficulties that come with not only being a single parent, but a single parent in a impossible to explain situation that most people wouldn't
So
understand.
she's now human, and she has to figure out how to raise half wolf baby children without the aid of a wolf husband. Now is what you're saying.
And
Yeah.
without anybody finding out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's
Okay.
a part where they start like I don't know, at first they're like in an apartment and that's where they have their kids and then he goes to, she's kind of feeling a little sick, so he has this primal urge to go and hunt for food, some game for his partner and gets like hit by a vehicle and she just finds out seeing that his groceries made it to the door but he didn't come inside and she's got both the kids and she just sees this dead wolf and literally they're just putting him in like a dumpster. Like it's so sad.
It's
Like it's
so
heartbreaking
sad.
and she just can't even explain in this world they live in like what the fuck is happening and why and how it impacts her. All she just has left is like this little driver's license photo to remember him by. But then as she's raising her kids, they transition between based on emotions, if they're hungry, like sometimes it's just a need like a small child would have and they're fluctuating between human and wolf and at one point she gets like a call from landlords complaining like we're hearing like you're not allowed pets, like we're hearing dogs and howling and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
she's like and then she doesn't take them to like one of them eats a silica packet and she's like, oh my gosh, do I take my child to the hospital or a vet or like what can I
Uh,
do? Like they had to have their birth private, like everything had to be. And she goes to the library to try to study wolves and like how to take care of kids themselves because
Hmm.
she's like, what do I do? And eventually gives them this choice after their dad passes of like, do you guys want to live as humans or wolves? And they don't know how to respond because they're both and they're children. And then she's like, well, like I want to give you that choice, so she, for safety for their family but them to have the opportunity to exist like more freely, she goes to the farmlands of, buys like an old farm
Hmm.
kind of home to fix up in the middle of kind of nowhere so her kids get that chance to like explore, just be themselves safely because trying to grow up in a compact city apartment
yeah.
being not, both children are wolves is that's crazy. And she's got no guide left because her husband passed away or her partner passed away and is
Yeah.
like, what the fuck do I do?
So I the one.
Plus she has to try and escape the neighbors and the guy, because at one point Child Protective Services shows up and is like, yeah,
Yeah.
your children haven't been vaccinated or anything like
Yeah.
that, and we need to like you need to let us in, and they move to the country to kind of escape it all. And
So
it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's a
It's
good
so
one.
many harsh like if the realism in it for the sake of,
that
in
does
this
sound very
world, it's
realistic.
very much similar to ours, but this type of being just happens to exist, and this is what they're navigating. It's so fascinating, like
So
the
Yeah.
some of this real stuff they just have to face.
this movie sounds really good. My one issue or my one I guess observation is I don't necessarily love that that her solution for the children is so binary. Like I
Oh,
like,
it's
oh, you
really
can
not.
either okay because like you guys are like, oh, you're either a wolf or you're a human. I kind of would my hope for the outcome would be that they would be able to choose a life where they could accept both parts of them, be human when
They
they want to be and be a
That's
wolf
what
when
she
they want to
does.
be.
Yeah,
That's
the
why she takes
ultimate
him to
sum.
the countryside.
Yeah, the ultimate summation is that she wants them to be able to choose whatever they want to choose to have their life be.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Whatever that ends up being. And so that it kind of just the way that the movie portrays it, or the movie kind of shows it, is that um the two children being raised in the same situation grow to be very different, and handle it very differently. The son wants to lean more into the wolf side of things, and live his life that way, which isn't presented as a bad thing. It's just the way it is.
Gotcha.
Whereas the daughter very much is more, she wants to go to school, she wants to make friends, she wants to, which also isn't presented as a bad thing. It's just that's what her perspective and her choice is, and it is, I think it's done very well, and it's a good way of representing nurture versus nature, and showing that you can have two beings, two people, two individuals raised the same, but be very different people, and that's not bad.
Interesting.
It shows like a lot of fluidity there too, and like Ame when he's young, like the son, like at first he's much more like timid in nature, afraid of the wilds kind of thing. Like he's not really,
Hmm.
he's just kind of scared in the world, and then Yuki, the daughter, she's much more like wolfy and kind of just brave, tough, just
Hmm.
ruckusing around kind of vibes. And then yeah, as they're growing a bit, they kind of switch. Like Yuki has, or pardon me, Ame has this pivotal moment where, similar to his dad, which scares the shit out of the mom, he sees a kingfisher. Just they're running around in the snow having a time, and he just sees this kingfisher, and that those like predatory instincts kick in, and he just thinks like, maybe I'm feeling brave enough, like I could try to catch it. Tries to catch this bird, falls in the river, almost drowns. Like Yuki pulls him out. The mom can't catch up to her kids in time because they're literally wolf children and can run on all fours, and she's just doing her best to like run and
Yeah.
catch up. And but after that, but then Yuki's response isn't, that's the first time you see him not scared.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, I had this moment and I felt really good. And the mom is just like, I think reliving that PTSD of like losing her partner to their dad, to that same kind of instinct thing that she
Yeah.
also can't understand, being fully a human. But after that, that's when Ame is like, I want to start learning more of my wolf form, and kind of feeling more secure in that. Like the mom even gets a job at like an animal sanctuary type of place that has an old captive wolf, and she does that to try to introduce, and brings Ame with him instead of school a lot of the time, to let him explore like meeting other animals and seeing what he can learn. And and then
Hmm.
Yuki switches, where she's more like, I want to learn how to be like a human and do that kind of environment, which is really fascinating for their characters because they're very opposite, like in the early in it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, to wrap this up, Soraya, you recommended this movie to Jordan, right? You're the one who told him he had to
Yeah.
watch it. Jordan,
Not
was
like
it a
had to,
solid?
but
Was it a
No,
solid
had to.
recommend? Had to. Absolutely had
It
no
had to be
choice.
done.
Was it a solid
okay.
solid recommendation?
It's the
Good.
rule. If someone recommends a thing, it has to be watched.
It's a rule we
Okay.
followed so far. So Jordan, would you say that they have good taste, or that they selected an
Oh
excellent
yeah,
choice?
I think it was a very good choice, and I was very happy to watch it. It's not, funny enough, it's not typically one that I probably would have watched,
That's why I
which is
love this
always
show.
it's always fun when that happens.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of to have your expectations
Yeah,
shaken. That's not the right word, but
your
changed,
horizons
challenged,
broadened,
challenged. That's the word
challenged.
I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean that's
Um,
why I love this show, because yeah, you get to watch stuff you never would have watched. You get to appreciate new things you never would have appreciated before. It's why I love doing this. That's so cool. I'm happy
yeah,
to hear that. I think I want to wrap up the Studio Ghibli, the Hayao Miyazaki, and I want to really briefly. I've got two haven't seens. I'm not gonna
I
say
have
a
one.
ton.
I have one more too.
I'm gonna do mine after yours, but I don't have a ton to say about the second one. I did Ghost in the Shell. I don't have a ton to say about it. Um, Boy and the Heron. I want you both to watch it, because I think you're gonna love it. So
Challenge accepted.
I'm gonna be as spoiler
Also
free as I
accepted.
possibly can. I will say I understand your plight. Um, I managed to find a version, and I opened it up, and it was in Japanese, and I'm like, ugh, man, I don't want to watch this
I'd
in
watch it with
Japanese.
subs if I really like. If I found it in if I at least found it somewhere where I could stream it, where I didn't have to like pay a bunch to find it, I would. Or if I could find an actual good hard copy, I would buy it.
I was like, I don't know. So I scrubbed the internet for a version of the dub, and I could not find a very good version of it. And then this morning, I managed to find one, and the dub is totally worth watching. Like
Okay.
wait, find it, get the dub. The performances are so good. In particular, the Heron. The Heron is, and this is my our friend Jake, our podcast boss Jake of the Arte Media Podcast Network, says that he believes that Robert Pattinson is a bad actor. And I'm like, dude, you just haven't seen the right Robert Pattinson movie yet. I'm telling you, he's actually a good actor.
Have you literally seen The Lighthouse? My God,
I haven't had a
great phenomenal actor.
I have never actually seen it, but he's in this. I had no idea it was him. Like, I had no clue. I looked at the voice cast afterwards, and I'm like, holy shit, the Heron is Robert Pattinson. Like, it doesn't sound anything like him. The only ones who you could, and that brings me full circle to my point earlier about the voice acting, where for me, I don't want to hear the actor. I want to hear the character, if that makes any sense, right? I don't want to be distracted and be like, oh, that's just Christian Bale, or oh, that's just whatever. So like in this movie, Christian Bale is in it, William Dafoe is in it, Mark Hamill shows up at the end, and like you don't hear them at all. Like they're just the characters, and the performance is so freaking good. I think Florence Pugh is in there.
Pew.
So good. The animation is stunning. It's beautiful. There are scenes in it that are heart-wrenching. There's some scenes involving the lead character's mother that are particularly effective and harrowing. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but there's a moment in the ending that is very interesting, and people were like, "This is Hayao Miyazaki's last film." I could see how it could be. It very much has a finality to it. Like this is his last story to tell.
Interesting.
It has that sense where I'm like, I if this were to be his last film, I would be happy with it. And to be fair, this is like his fifth last film. Like The Wind Rises. No, actually, it's not his. I think it's his second, because that Tales of the Earthsea came out and muddled everything. But The Wind Rises was supposed to be his final film, and I think that movie's not very good. I just think it's very dull. This one, I would be satisfied if he never made another movie again. That's how much I like it. It's
interesting.
Genuinely a very, very good movie.
High praise. You've set the bar high. We'll have to see if it'll stand up to your.
So when we complete the trilogy and we do Japan, we do anime part 3. Jordan, or if Soraya wants to come back and do anime part 3, you both are gonna have to watch. I'd love
to come back for some more anime chat. Why not?
Cool. Then you guys can both watch the Boar and the Heron then, and you can tell me
what
you
thought. Some homework.
That's your homework.
Challenge accepted.
That's both your homework. And then Jordan, I'm just gonna quickly just say what I have to say about Ghost in the Shell. I don't have much other than to say, Jordan, I don't imagine you've seen Ghost in the Shell. No. Soraya, have you seen Ghost in the Shell? The original one, not the Scarlett Johansson nonsense.
I've seen the Scarlett Johansson one too, but I've seen the original one, like not the full series though. I think I've seen like the first half of it.
Interesting.
I like how the touch coma sound.
There's a series. Oh, I didn't know there was a series. I watched the movie. I watched the 1995
I was talking
movie.
about the anime.
Oh no, it's anime. It's a 1995 anime movie. I thought it was the first. I didn't know there was a series. So I don't suppose you know. Is the series come after the movie, or is the movie first? I didn't know there was a series.
Timeline wise, I don't know.
I meant release wise.
I just used to watch Anime Fridays and YTV, and straight up Ghost in the Shell. There'd be like Ghost in the Shell, Eureka 7, Naruto, Inuyasha, and like I don't know.
Okay, so
there was just a Rolodex of shows that would come on sometimes. Then Bleach eventually. So I would just kind of watch that, and sometimes they do reruns, and then they'd be way behind in making English dubs for here. So they would just
Yeah.
have
Yep.
there would just be no more that had come out, and yeah, it was like pre-internet.
Yep.
So.
That's my
What a
most.
time! What a time!
Oh yeah.
Oh man, the good old
Just get
Yeah.
days.
fed anime sometimes if you're lucky enough to catch it.
Oh yeah. I remember like they would with Dragon Ball Z, they would release all of it, all the stuff they had up until a point, and then they would stop, and then they would restart it again, and then they get back to the point that they were at, and then they continue on for like 5 or 6 more episodes, and then they double back and redo that, and that was just how you watch Dragon Ball. So you saw every episode of Dragon Ball Z like 5 or 6 times because that was the only way you got it. Yeah, kids these days. Jake once again he said this about Dragon Ball Super and how like the kids these days are like spoiled with their simulcast and it going directly to Crunchyroll. Like we had to wait months for new episodes.
We had to sometimes like a year.
Yeah.
So okay, so that this
Or they
fascinates
just
me.
never finish it, which
Or they-
would happen often.
Yeah,
So
or
that's
they
Yeah.
never finish it. So okay,
just fall in love with an anime. They're like, guess what? We're never making more. Go read the manga.
I mean
or
that's what
don't.
happened to
You're
me
like,
with
"Oh."
with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I never got the final season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I was really disappointed about that. But okay. So this fascinates me. So this might be slightly longer than I thought. So I'm gonna just give you a really quick plot breakdown of the movie, and if you remember the show, tell me if it's similar because I'm so curious, or if it's similar, if it shares a similar plot to the Scarlett Johansson movie, even. So the Ghost in the Shell is basically it's kind of similar to Akira, where it takes place in like a dystopian, futuristic world where everyone has like tech inside them, and there's a hacker, like a famous hacker whose name is escaping me, and he is hacking into like people's technology and different things and trying to take down this particular group of government workers. And the main character is this woman, and she is like so much machine that she is starting to doubt whether she is a machine or whether she is a human. And then the question becomes like he's like no, you're definitely human. And she's like, how do you know? Like, I can't see my brain, you can't see your brain, how do you know you're human? How do you identify what consciousness is? And then later on you find out that the hacker is an AI, and that it believes itself to be alive, and they keep trying to convince it that it's not alive. And he's like, again, how do you know that I'm alive? I have consciousness, I have self-awareness.
What is life?
Yeah, what is
really?
life? What is consciousness? Does any of that sound familiar to you?
Look, I will say, I've seen a little bit of it. Some of that does sound familiar.
Okay.
I mostly just thought the little cool robot spiders with cute voices were adorable, and the rest of it I was confusing, and I was like, wow, sure wish like Inuyasha would be on soon instead of this. But that's what I felt with
See,
the anime.
I'm gonna do Inuyasha.
But
That's
what
fair.
you're talking about from like the Ghost in the Shell, like the ScarJo one that I did watch in I don't know, recent-ish history. Yeah, that's very
that's the
familiar
plot of that
sounding.
movie. Oh, okay. So that movie is an adaptation of
kind
the
of the
animated
same.
movie. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Oh, it's definitely an
Oh, okay.
adaptation.
And is the Scarlett Johansson movie? It's not anime, but I'm so interested. Does it also explore that idea, that like basic idea of like what is consciousness and all that sort of like?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because
Yeah, totally.
I thought that was interesting. I'm like, you know what? This Ghost in the Shell. Have you seen Akira? This feels like a dumb question.
No.
You've never seen Akira?
I know.
It's okay.
Look,
You know
there's
what?
quite a few movies
It's
where
okay.
I've never seen The Godfather. Like, there's like all these classic films, but I know in anime, as far as anime goes, Akira is like top notch. Like, you gotta see it, and I just still haven't seen it. And I want to. I just haven't made.
If it makes you feel any better, I haven't seen that either.
So here's the deal. When you come back for part 3, both of you have to watch Akira and The Boy and the Heron. That's not your homework.
Okay. Oh my god, can you guys watch? Can you B-Stars watch Sidebar?
Okay, here I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal. If you guys watch Boy and the Heron and Akira, I will watch B-Stars.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna write it down right now on my little homework list. Please do, yeah. And then like, oh my gosh, should we time it for like when? Well, the new ones come out in December. Apparently.
We'll okay, yeah, okay. We'll work it out. We'll work out a schedule. It's okay.
Yeah,
well, I'll do that. I'll watch it. You guys watch those because if you love anime as a North American person, I said this to Jordan when I watched it for the show, and I maintain it now. Every person who loves anime needs to watch Akira because it is the granddaddy. It is the godfather. it influenced so much anime in the like anime generally, and it absolutely influences anime in the West. Like
I pledge I will watch this film finally.
there's the bit. Okay, have you seen Final Fantasy VII Advent Children?
Yes, and I love it.
You know that bit
I
where
was way obsessed with Vincent Van
perfect. You know the bit where Cloud is on the motorcycle and he slides backwards on the motorcycle?
Yeah, the cool
shot on the motorcycle.
Yes.
That's literally from
100%
Akira. Like shot for shot, that is literally from Akira.
Wow.
Yeah. Like the flying, the fighting. Yeah, so much of it. You're like, yeah, Akira Toriyama clearly took stuff from this. Like there's it's a movie every
inspired
person
by
took inspiration from.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I didn't mean steal. I said I meant took inspiration
like
from.
art inspires, and
yeah,
then
he was very
people
much
create more art inspired by other art, and it goes on.
It's really good. But yeah, so Ghost in the Shell really reminds me of Akira, and it's
Ooh.
this is what Japan thinks the future dystopia will look like. They have a it's so interesting to me that Japan has such a different idea of dystopia. Like all of their dystopias are techno. They have like everyone is like Akira, Ghost in the Shell. It's all a techno dystopia. Like it's all based around technology. And it just shows such a different. Whereas America is like their dystopia is always like a desert or like everyone's starving or thirsty. Whereas like Japan is like, no, we have robots and shit. Like it's just very fascinating. But that's it. That's all my stuff for the week. Jordan, what is your final one you hadn't seen?
My final one that I haven't seen is called The Imaginary. It's on Netflix. So I'm gonna be honest. I kind of fell asleep in the last little bit of it. So
perfect. It's perfect. That means you can go fast. No, let's do this first. So, Sarai, have you seen this movie?
Never even heard of it.
No, okay, so. Jordan. Very quickly, what is the plot synopsis when you click on it on Netflix?
I mean, I don't have it open on Netflix currently, but
like roughly.
But basically, Cold Notes version. Imaginary friend goes through trials and tribulations with his creator, and adventures ensue.
So did you end up going back to it and finishing it?
No, not yet. Didn't really have a chance.
Oh, okay. So we may have to revisit this one again because friend of the show, Tall Girl, she recommended it, and it was based upon my dislike of the ending of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And so she was curious what we thought about the ending, and I didn't watch it because you were gonna watch it, and I kind of wish I had now. But it's totally fine. I'm curious. I was curious about the ending. So, okay. I
will say, animation wise, it's very pretty and it's very cute, and there's a lot of cute, whimsical scenes. It just was one where those cute, whimsical scenes, like you know how in Totoro, there's the cute, whimsical scenes where there's like music going on and there's not much that's like actually plot wise happening on this.
Yeah, like
there's a number of scenes from what I recall. There's a number of scenes that were like that.
I totally.
And it's just, you kind of when it's like not 9 o'clock on a Friday after you've been working all day, your mind kind of just switches off at a certain point.
Similar to like in Totoro when the little 4-year-old first discovers Totoro, or like when they're riding the cat bus through the like, and she's playing whimsical like fun. Yeah, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah. Also, I didn't talk about
there's them on their journey.
Yeah,
just a part of the experience.
But when you're tired,
exactly,
buckle up. You're on the ride.
Yeah, exactly.
But which is great, and it's beautiful and it's pretty. But when you're tired, it makes your mind wander a little bit.
I forgot to mention, just to go back to Totoro really quick. I forgot to mention the music in Totoro. The music in Totoro is amazing. I genuinely love the opening theme song. It's like it really gets you like, hey, let's go. Like it really gets you hyped for the soundtrack for all those movies are good. But okay, maybe we'll put a pin in this one then, and we'll come back to it. I'll watch it and I won't fall asleep through it. And that was a joke. And we'll do that I'll watch Beastars.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so old.
That's
I'm
totally
I'm
fine.
so excited
sorry.
to see what you guys think of Beastars.
But that is anime. That is anime. And yes, we're gonna do a part 3. There's so much anime to talk about, and we're glad to have you here. They've already committed to coming
Well,
back.
very excited.
I'm writing it down too. You've already committed. We're gonna do a part 3.
We've penciled you in already. It's
But-
gonna happen.
Look,
Since-
I straight up was like so excited for this. Like I I was like brainstorming. I was like, I don't know. I was probably inspired by the Anime Friday ideas. I had thoughts where I was like, y'all, if you ever want to do this again, I got some ideas. Some
I
fun,
really
Awesome.
fun
I really enjoy your
anime based
perspective.
games, maybe perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do anime. If you want to come back and do another topic, anyone who's ever been on the show, we invite all guests. If you message us or you're like, I want to be on the show, I can make just about anything work. We are currently aiming to do this permanently on Saturdays. At least I am. So it will always probably be at 11 on Saturdays, but I'm flexible. I'm very flexible. I can
Fairly
move,
flexible.
I can move stuff around.
It's just for Jordan, weekends usually works better.
Yeah. Also, the algorithm likes
Makes
it when you're
sense.
consistent. It's just the truth.
Dead.
That, gotta please that algorithm,
Yeah,
man.
unfortunately,
Oh,
yeah.
it's an endless treadmill.
But with that, and since Soraya's here,
Treadmill.
they're gonna get to hear what next week is before anyone else does. But no, I already announced it.
Right.
We're gonna do live action stuff next week. We're gonna talk about
live action Japanese stuff.
We're gonna
Justin.
talk
You have to specify.
We're gonna talk tokusatsu. We're gonna talk. This is how it's gonna work. It's kind of sort of a versus thing, but not really a versus thing. Jordan is tackling Super Sentai, which, if you're unfamiliar with Super Sentai, is the Japanese version of Power Rangers. It is what Power Rangers is based on. It's where they take the suit footage. He's gonna watch an anniversary special called Gokaiger, which is basically pirates. It's pirate Sentai. And the whole gimmick with them,
sweet.
it is super fun. And the gimmick
Pirates and Power Rangers combined.
The gimmick is that they can transform into other Power Rangers. That's the idea, to celebrate like 35 years of the show. So that's what they can do. So Jordan's gonna watch that, and he's gonna watch some other, like, a few episodes here and there of the Japanese versions of Power Rangers. He's gonna tell me about some Power Rangers, but also he's been given permission. He can watch some Power Rangers. He's allowed to watch some Power Rangers if he wants.
Some just normal Power Rangers.
You have permission for Power Rangers.
Yeah, well, because the live action stuff, generally the rules, it's got to be in Japanese. Like the anime, you can watch some dubs, but the live action stuff, you got to learn some Japanese. You don't have to learn Japanese, but you got to watch it in Japanese. But
I thought you say, like, just blind watch a film that when you don't fully understand it and just
yes, I have. Yes.
I've done it with Spanish, and it's hard. It hurts my brain.
I've done it with we watched Fusion Reborn. I watched it because I had a Japanese exchange student, so we watched it without subtitles. And then I watched the Japanese version of Shall We Dance. I've watched a few. But I myself, I will be doing Ultraman, as mentioned before.
Ultraman.
I do now because I've done some pre-research, but I pretty much know nothing about Ultraman. And it turns out Ultraman has a weirdly convoluted backstory and power set and what he comes from and what he does. We've already done an Ultraman movie that's kind of what inspired this. So I'm going to be watching a similar series where the gimmick is he can turn into various monsters over the course of Ultraman's history and different Ultramans. And I'm going to watch a few Ultramans here and there and watch some movies and whatnot. But yeah, I'm going to teach Jordan and the audience about Ultraman. He's going to teach me about Super Sentai. Oh, and the reason why he's allowed to watch Power Rangers is because I'm going to watch Superhero Samurai Cyber Squad with Matthew Lawrence. And yeah, it's from the 90s. It's basically like what Power Rangers is to Sentai. It's what Ultraman is to... It's Ultraman, but for America, basically. It only lasted like 2 seasons.
Ultraman for America.
Pretty much. It's pretty much what it is. Yeah. I'm going to talk about it. I've already watched a few episodes. It's a very fun show. But tune in next week for part 2 of our season 3 premiere with live action Japanese stuff. I'm really excited for it. I love anime, but my passion is the live action stuff, is the tokusatsu. I love teaching people about it because most people my age, our age, I guess collectively, grew up watching Power Rangers, and I love being like, hey, imagine Power Rangers, but it's like way more violent, right, Jordan?
Oh, I mean, yeah,
It's like
with the
way more
pirate
violent.
one, in the Sentai stuff, there's been a few scenes where like you can hear like they you can hear the neck snapping sound as they snap
Ugh,
people's necks,
Yeah.
and it's
that
like
one might not be for
you
me.
you you
No,
you
not
wouldn't get that in. I mean, it's still kids, like
it's
But
a
then again, I
show.
saw Deadpool,
Yeah.
so
It's
yeah,
it's a show, so it's okay.
it's still aimed at
It's
children.
aimed at say for
all right, all
Japan.
right.
They have a thing where they don't see violence the same way we do. So like yeah, that's a show for like 7-year-olds, and it's like the emotion is slightly more intense. It's genuinely that season in particular is one of my. It's the season that made me get into Super Sentai and Tokusatsu as a genre. It's really fun.
Bas-
I love recommending it to
It does
people.
sound cool.
Basically,
It
I
looks
find that
definitely
when it comes to Japanese children versus American children, um, if a thing is meant for like, uh, basically if a thing is meant for like 8-year-olds like Japan, then when they bring it over to America, they make it so it's made for 5-year-olds. Like
Yeah, yeah.
they
they baby it
kidify
down a
it.
And
little
like
bit.
I'd be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in Japan, like it's more suited for like 5, 6 to 7-year-olds. But in America, if you were to present them the same thing, they would think it was for 10-year-olds. Like that's kind of the difference
Interesting.
in sort of approach to
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah.
Or maybe even maybe better 12-year-olds, like preteens, like early teens. Like that's how they would probably see the
Um,
level of violence in that show. And drama, because like characters die, like they get killed, like bloody, but like bloody for a show for kids.
in yours, you mean, or mine? Because I haven't seen any blood.
In the genre generally.
Oh, fair, fair. But anyway, that's what we have
Yeah,
coming
that's
up.
next week. Thanks everyone for joining for our like mega season premiere. This is the end of the show. This is where we do end of show plugs. Saria, once again, where can people find you if you want them to find you?
All right. If you want to find me, check out my various art forms and endeavors. You can follow me at Saraya Fox, spelled SARIAFOXX on Instagram, mostly Instagram, and other
Cool,
websites.
cool. Jordan, as always, where can the people find you when you're not here?
When I'm not here, I do Minecraft Mondays on Twitch, Zethgore187.
He
I'm pretty consistent.
he keeps threatening if more people show up on Mondays, he may stream an additional day.
I might, and I might do if people were to show up. If I watch something that's on Prime, I can do watch parties, and we can do my work for the show here and stream video games at the same time,
That's what I'm
like I
saying.
do.
But yeah, it's Zethgore. Again, link in the description. You can find me. I'm on TikTok, Justin Spurr. I do what I do here, but it's shorter. That's it. That's pretty much it. The show has its own TikTok. You can follow the show. It's Spur of the Moment. I think it's Spur of the Moment P because I ran out of characters. And you can email the show at it's justinsbusiness@gmail.com. Don't send me anything weird, please. I beg you. No one has yet, but I feel like I need to say that. Otherwise, somebody will.
I kind of want to send you something weird now.
You could contact me there. I look. You know what? Sorry. I feel like we've developed a back and forth here. I will give you permission. You can send me something weird.
All right, cool. Not too weird, but
No,
a little strange.
But anyway. Yeah, thank you once again. Thank you everybody. We'll see you guys. We can see you guys next week. I'm gonna end this here. I'm gonna end this now.
End it on a high note.